Chapter 1337. Mom, the children called out. Seeing that the children were all standing at the door waiting, Chinya and Dongwang Baiji felt a bit better. At least, they didn't run over to that bastard side and knew to stand on their mother's side. This was also Qin Yutong's idea. She and Qian Yuqing went to calm Yi Hua down, while the children came over to calm their mother down. This should be the best temporary solution. Chinya and Dongwang Baiji looked at the children and felt wronged. Seeing that their mother was about to cry, the children were speechless. Dongwang Li and Yi Lu hurriedly went over to comfort their mother, and after they comforted their mother, the mother became even worse. Dongwang Li began to cry even more fiercely, and even kept on scolding Yi Hua about how bad he was towards their mother, and how bad he was towards their mother. The children listened and did not say anything. Women, after all, would inevitably complain a bit. Right now, God Yi was experiencing in his heart. God Yi, don't learn from your father, treat Xian better, understand? Dongwang Baiji said to her son seriously. However, like father, like son, God Ye's personality was rather similar to Yi Hua's. He was also the most similar out of the four children. Mom, you are sad. Perhaps, not long later, you will become a grandmother. Dongwang Li could only use some happy things to wash away the sadness in her mother's heart. As expected, when Dongwang Baiji heard that she was going to have a grandson, she immediately stopped crying. Really? Dongwang Baiji looked at God Yi and Lu Xian. That focused gaze of hers was as if she was going to have a grandson. Lu Xian was embarrassed by Dongwang Baiji's gaze. She kept staring at my stomach. I just ate last night. How can I have a child so quickly? Mother's reaction made God Yi a bit embarrassed. I don't even know what happened last night. I don't even know if this child is pregnant or not. Seeing the reaction of the two children, Dongwang Baiji knew that the gloominess in her heart immediately disappeared. Great. This is great. Mom is waiting to carry a grandson. This is great. Where am I going to find a grandson for Mom to carry? God Yi felt helpless. Is big sister trying to help? Or is she trying to cause trouble? As the big sister, Dongwang Li could only help to this extent. Little brother, work hard and give birth to a child. Perhaps, when the child is born, the relationship between mom and dad will become better. After all, when a child is born, it means that there is hope. Right now, Dongwang Baiji was happy. However, Chinya felt even worse. Look at God Yi. He has found a girlfriend and is about to have a child. Looking at his own son, he was still single. Just thinking about it made his heart ache. Ian could feel what his mother was thinking. He subconsciously looked away, indicating that he didn't know anything. That's right. Why not let Luer find a boyfriend and give birth to a child to make her mother happy? Just as Ian was about to voice out his suggestion, Yi Lu spoke first. Mom, actually, brother has a girlfriend too. He's just too embarrassed to bring her home. Ian was stupefied. My goodness, you're even faster than me. Yi Lu still didn't know what her big brother was going to do, and she knew that her big brother was definitely planning to make things difficult for her little sister. Since that's the case, don't blame her little sister. Also, big brother, it's about time for you to find a girlfriend. Look at brother God Yi. The child is about to come out. Don't fall behind. Qingyu was delighted. Yin is what little sister said true? Looking at his mother's joyful expression, Yin really wanted to deny it, but the result of denying it was that his mother was disappointed again. Look at how happy Baiji's mother is. Yi Lu, just you wait. Mom, about that, you know what I mean? Yin could only do this. Right now, as long as I can make my mother happy, I will do anything. Qingyu said petulantly. Yeah? Seriously, look at Shan. Even you know to bring your girlfriend home for Mom to see. Yet you're the one who is hiding her. That's too rude. Tomorrow, bring someone else home for Mom to see. Ah, tomorrow. Ian cried out in surprise. Where am I going to find a girlfriend? Is there a problem? Of course there is. That person's house is very far away. Furthermore, their family education is very strict. They're not allowed to come out. If that's the case, then Mom will accompany you. Ian, my dear sister, you have caused trouble for your brother this time. If Mom knew that I lied to her, she would definitely be even angrier. You're just adding oil to the fire. No need, no need. This is so rude. How about I go and persuade them? All right, if the other party's parents don't allow it, Mom will go over. After all, there's a need to meet the in-laws. Ian immediately became speechless. All right, I will try my best. Dongwang Baiji smiled towards Qinya and said, Congratulations. Same to you too, Qinya said with a smile. As expected, when a boy has a girlfriend, this mother will be especially happy. She even forgot about the matter of quarreling with her father. Looking at his mother who left happily, Yin'er was like a deflated ball. Then, Yin'er stared at Yi Lu. Brother, hurry up and go and find her. After finished speaking, Yi Lu ran away. If I'm caught by my brother, I will be done for. Yi Lu, count yourself lucky that you ran away fast. Ian said gravely. God Yi said softly. Big sister, brother, I won't be accompanying you two anymore. I have to hurry up and go back to make a baby. Lucien immediately became speechless. This is a very romantic matter, and you actually turned it into a kind of mission. Can't you have a proper conversation? Now, only Dongwang Li and Yi Yin were left at the scene. Big sister, think of a way, save me. Yin, if I were you, I would hurry up and go and find a girlfriend. Big sister, the time is so short. Where am I going to find a girlfriend? Do you have any close female friends? It would be good for you to cooperate with Mom and make Mom happy. Dongwang Li shook her head. The only close female friend that you have is my little brother. Also, if you're going to find a girlfriend, don't look for her in the Empire. Dad will be able to find out her identity in a short while. Try to stay as far away as possible. What you said makes sense. Lu, can't you change to another method? How can you go and find a girlfriend so carelessly? Good luck to you. I will go and see how Dad is doing. When adults quarrel, us children are truly worried to death. Dongwang Li let out a long sigh, then slowly walked away. Yi Yin, who had a gloomy look on his face, was left behind. Right now, Yi Yin was thinking of various plans in his mind. Spend some money to find an actress and come back to act in a show. As for the future, just say that their personalities are incompatible and they broke up. As expected, this is the method that scumbags usually use to break up. Should I look for Uncle Wei? Uncle Wei doesn't even go out to fool around. Where would I find any resources? That's right. Let's look for Aunt. Isn't Aunt the Empress of God's realm? She has a lot of resources in her hands. Let Aunt find an actress for me. Chapter 1338. As long as he dealt with his mother, it would be fine. He would just deal with it like this for now. What headache. However, he hadn't seen his aunt yet, and had only heard his mother talk about her yesterday. He didn't know if his aunt was easy to talk to, and if she could find a movie Empress-level expert for him. His parents had discerning eyes, and if it was fake, they would be able to see through it right away. However, to make his mother happy, this was the only thing he could do. Maybe if his mother was happy, she would have something to talk to his father about. For the sake of family harmony, it seemed like he had to find his aunt. After making his decision, Yi Yin headed straight to God's world. To God's world, this place was still a little foreign. However, there was a sense of novelty. Although Wushu Empire had changed a lot, the palace had always been the same, so there was still a sense of familiarity. Walking on the streets of Spirit Capital, Yi Yin looked around curiously. Was this where gods lived? He thought it would be some sort of celestial realm. In the end, he didn't expect it to be even behind compared to Wushu Empire. He was a little disappointed. In the past, he often heard about how amazing the gods were in deity institution. They were just bragging to the heavens. In the end, he realized that the gods' world that was bragged about was just like that. It was best if you want to find his aunt. This matter was a little more urgent. Directly charge into the palace? That seemed a little rash. It was his first time meeting his aunt, so it wasn't good to be so rash. Stop. Who are you? The guards at the door directly blocked Yi Yan's path. They crossed their spears in front of Yi Yan to block him. I am looking for my aunt. Yi Yan smiled. Looking for aunt? The guard was a little stunned. This was just toying with the two of them. Yi Yan quickly explained, The Empress is my aunt, so you all know. The guard's expression became a little ugly. There had to be a limit to playing with people. You actually said that the Empress was your aunt. Why don't you say that Prince Yi is your father? What is going on? Only to see that a carriage had appeared. A sweet voice spread out from within. It was really comfortable, like one was bathing in sunlight. Lord Envoy. This person says that the Empress is his aunt. The guard cupped his hands and said respectfully, Aunt? As far as I know, the Empress is ranked second in the Yi family, and the eldest is Prince Yi. Who is Prince Yi to you? Yi Yan was helpless. Originally, he wanted to act cool, but in the end he was seen through. Boring. Lord Yi is my father. Yi Yan's heroic spirit was soaring to the heavens. Using his own father's name really feels good. There is nothing better than this. My father's name is Yi Hua. Think about it. Sure enough, when Yi Yan said this, everyone was shocked. Even the woman in the carriage was shocked. She was just guessing. He didn't expect that the young man outside was actually Lord Ye's son. Do you know the consequences of pretending to be Prince Ye's son? At this time, the guards did not dare to offend him easily. There were many people who pretended to be relatives of the Empress, but there was basically no one who pretended to be relatives of Prince Yi. This was the first time. I know. I really have something urgent to see, Aunt. Yi Yan said anxiously. What if his mother had a sudden impulse and wanted to meet his girlfriend's family? At that time, she would definitely tell him, You and your father are the same, lying to your mother. Why is mother's life so bitter? Being bullied by you and your father like this. Mother doesn't want to live anymore. When he thought of how his mother was going to cry and hang herself, Yi Yan's head became big. This was simply too terrifying. Just thinking about it made his entire body numb. He must bring a girlfriend back to deal with this. Get in the carriage, I will bring you in. The voice in the carriage was still so gentle, making Yi Yan feel very comfortable. He directly jumped into the carriage. The guard seemed to want to stop them, but the guard at the side stopped him with a look. If the great messenger guaranteed it, then it would be fine. Even if something happened, it would not be his fault. Yi Yan was actually also very curious about the pretentious woman in the carriage. Therefore, even if he sat in the carriage and spoke, he would be suspected of being pretentious. Then let me, Gongzi Yi, see what kind of divine being you are. However, when he saw the woman in the carriage, Yi Yan felt that as expected of a pretentious woman. She even masked her face, 666. Wearing a veil and a white skirt, dressed like a saint, Gongzi Yi did not have any feelings for such a saint. Speaking of which, if she wore all black and held a box in her hand, she would definitely be even scarier. You seem to be a little disappointed. You can even see through this. Admirable. Yi Yan cupped his hands. It was not that he had never seen a beautiful woman before. Since he was young, he had seen a beauty like his mother, so his immunity was very strong now. The woman was a little unconvinced. Are you looking down on me? Indeed. You are the son of Lord Yi. You can look down on everyone. Yi Yan looked back at the woman doubtfully. Why do your words sound so sour? Even if you want to fill up your brain, you can't fill it up like this. Don't randomly put labels on me. I am a low-key and luxurious man. After saying that, he took out his folding fan and opened it with a swoosh. Speaking of pretentious, I, Yi Yan, am no longer a bronze contestant. I am at least a silver contestant. Sigh, my peerless appearance. Seems like you are indeed the son of Lord Yi. Yi Yan was speechless. Beauty, don't always say that I am the son of Lord Yi. It makes me very surprised. This is the truth. If you were not the son of Lord Yi, you would not even be able to enter the door today. If you were not the son of Lord Yi, perhaps you would still be unknown where you are now. After hearing this, Yi Yan was instantly unhappy. It was as if she was saying that he relied on his father. I, Yi Yan, rely on the heavens, rely on the earth, and rely on myself. All right, you are right. Who asked me to have a good father, allowing me to do whatever I want? Yi Yan grinned and looked at the woman with a naughty smile, as if he was about to do something dirty. The woman did not expect that Yi Yan would say that. She seemed to be a little disappointed in her heart. Thus, she remained silent. Seeing that the woman did not speak, Yi Yan did not speak as well. I am too lazy to speak. You only know how to act pretentious, not even speaking, as if you were very awesome. I, young Master Yi, have never acted pretentious like this. Not long later, the carriage stopped. Yi Yan directly jumped off the carriage. Staying together with this kind of woman is simply going to make my balls hurt. Looking at the stairs in front of him, Ian directly walked up, too lazy to look at the woman behind him. Arriving at the front of the main palace, Ian put away his silk pants attitude and became serious as he walked into the palace. Yi Yuanqing just received the news that his nephew actually came to look for him. Thus, he hurriedly contacted his big brother. Big brother said that his son had indeed returned. So it turns out that he went to look for his aunt. Yihua was a little puzzled. Why did Ian go to look for Yuanqing? Looking at the woman on the throne, Ian sized her up. Indeed, she looks a bit similar to father. Yi Yuanqing was also looking at Yi Yan. What a handsome child. Chapter 1339. Aunt. Ian suddenly called out. Eldest nephew. Yi Yuanqing shouted too. The atmosphere was a little weird. Anyway, Ian was dumbfounded. His aunt was a little arrogant. Yi Yuanqing smiled and gestured for the people around to leave. Don't interrupt the conversation between aunt and niece. Big brother's son is really interesting. He is not as cold as big brother. How nice is that? However, just as Ian was about to discuss business with his aunt, the crisp sound of footsteps suddenly rang out. Ian stopped instantly. Was this woman trying to go against him? She really knew how to find the right spot. Greetings, Empress. So it's an envoy. What's the matter? Empress, I'm here to bid farewell to you. Yi Yuanqing was stunned for a moment. Envoy, are you ready to go back so soon? Could it be that I did not treat you well enough? Your Majesty, you must be joking. I like this place very much. I really hope that I can stay here for a long time. Ian choked and muttered, saying one thing and thinking another. Although the voice was very soft, it was still heard. Yi Yuanqing asked curiously, Nephew, you know the messenger? I wouldn't dare, Ian said in a low voice. Yi Yuanqing thought to himself. It seemed like there was a conflict. Looks like I've offended Lord Ye's son. I wonder if I'll be killed on the way back, the woman said softly. Judging from her tone, it seemed that she intended to go against Yi Yan. I say, woman, is there something wrong with you? I know, you're trying to get my attention. You're just trying to play the trick. Aunt, look, this messenger is seducing your nephew, seducing Prince Ye's son. Yi Yan's words were neither servile nor overbearing, as if he was a hero, standing on the moral high ground and condemning this filthy woman. Fighting with me? Yi Yan, you're still too inexperienced. Yi Yuanqing wanted to smooth things over. He smiled and said, all right. Don't make it seem like a quarrelsome quarrel. Who's his enemy? The two of them said in unison. Yi Yuanqing chuckled. By the way, why did you come to me today? I just talked to your father. Ian glanced at the woman next to him. There are outsiders here. How can I say it out loud? I didn't expect Prince Ye's son to have something he can't say. Who said I can't say it? I, Ian, am the benchmark on the road. Then tell me. If you want me to say it, I'll say it. Who do you think you are? Isn't it because you don't dare to say it? Who wouldn't dare? Tell me then. I won't say it. I'm going to piss you off. Yi Yuanqing watched as the two of them started to argue, and he found that Mandang was right. He wondered what his big brother was thinking. Chiyu wasn't very old. She was only a few hundred years older than Yi Yan. Her family background wasn't bad either. She was well-educated, gentle, and virtuous. She was also very smart. She would definitely be able to help Yi Yan in the future. There was no need to mention her looks. Chiyu was a standard beauty. She would be a good wife. All right. The two of you, stop for a moment. Those who don't know would think that you were a couple bickering with me, said Yi Yuanqing with a smile. Ian looked at his aunt in disbelief. Aunt, stop joking. Is she a woman? Chuyu was also a gentle woman, but when she heard what Yi Yan said, she almost exploded in anger. You say that I'm not a woman, then I say that you're not a man. I'm not a man. Do you want to come and have a taste of my fierceness? See how awesome I am. Vulgar. Shameless. Prince Ye's son is too much. Chuyu was so angry that her face turned red. Prince Ye's illustrious reputation has been ruined by your hands. However, when Yi Yan heard Chuyu say that he was Prince Ye's son, he felt a headache. Isn't it good to call him by his name? Why did she add son? Isn't she sick? Forget it, Mr. Yi, I won't lower myself to a woman's level. Yi Yuanqing, who was sitting on the throne, had a smile on the corner of his mouth as he looked at the two of them quarreling. Seems like this aunt, have to be the matchmaker. Big brother can also be a bit more at ease. Chiyu, this child, is still very outstanding. There is no problem for her to enter our Yi family. However, she was angered quite badly by her nephew. This is not a good start. All right. Quiet down for a moment, Yi Yuanqing said with a slight smile. The two stopped quarreling, looking like they were unwilling to pay attention to each other. Nephew, if you have something to say, just say it. Chiyu is not an outsider. Aunt, the matter that I want to say is very important, so it cannot be heard by outsiders. Ian naturally wouldn't say it in front of other people. He was very particular about this. Empress, then I will take my leave first, Chiyu said respectfully, then slightly bowed her body and left. Bye-bye. Ian waved his hand, causing Chiyu's tone to be quite heavy. After Chiyu left, Yi Yuanqing shook her head and said, Nephew, this Chiyu is quite a good person. You are a man, so you have to give in to others. Aunt, you didn't see her. She was too arrogant. The moment she opened her mouth, she said that I am Prince Ye's son, making me seem like a profligate son. Ian was actually in a bad mood. This is just a matter of custom for others, Yi Yuanqing explained. There is such a custom. Ian pouted his mouth. Forget it. Let's not talk about this anymore. Chiyu has already left because of me. Yi Yuanqing stood up and walked in front of Ian. I have long heard Big Brother talk about you. Seeing you today, you're truly not bad. Of course. Hearing the praise, Ian immediately felt a bit smug. All right, little fellow. What did you come to look for Aunt for? Right now, it is just the two of us. Ian let out a deep sigh. Aunt, do you know that the relationship between my parents is very stiff? Yi Yuanqing, of course, knew about it. Every year, he would go and take a look at their relationship, and at the end, he found out that there was a problem between big brother and sister-in-law. What happened? They exploded. They got into a scolding fight. It was just this morning. They were scolding to their heart's content. They almost broke up. So serious. Yi Yuanqing cried out in surprise. I didn't expect that the matter would be so serious. Ian shook his head. My little brother, he found a girlfriend. Last night they did that, and it was as if the child is going to be born soon. Baiji's mother was very happy. I'm the only son of my mother, and I don't have a girlfriend right now, so you're looking for Aunt to give birth to the child? Ian, what the hell? What is wrong with Aunt's brain circuit? Aunt is just joking with you. Do you want Aunt to introduce a girlfriend to you? Yi Yuanqing was a bit mischievous. Seeing Yian's stupefied expression, Yi Yuanqing felt that it was really funny. Not introducing a girlfriend. It is just arranging an actress to pretend to be my girlfriend and make my mother happy for a bit. Once they are happy, they will definitely have something to say to my father. This idea is not bad. All the children have their own families, and for the parents, it is good. Chapter 1340. Then, Aunt, do me a favor, for the sake of our family's harmony. She has already been angered away by you. How can Aunt help? After hearing that, the corner of Ian's mouth slightly twitched. He pointed to the back and said, Aunt, it can't be. You mean the one just now. Forget it. Let's change to another one. Nephew, then do you know what the consequences of changing to another one will be? Yi Yuanqing smiled faintly, looking like an Annie holding a lollipop. What consequences? Ian asked curiously. Yi Yuanqing walked with his hands behind his back and said slowly, Nephew, you asked Aunt to find an actress to cooperate with you, but do you know your identity? My identity? Yes, although I am an actress. Aunt will tell you that there are too many women who want to marry into Yi family. With the conditions that you said, no woman will reject it, even if it is acting. But nephew, if your family approves of it, do you think you can get rid of it so easily? Yi family is very tempting. After hearing that, Yi felt that what Aunt said was reasonable. Finding a woman is enough, but if I have to clean up the mess later on, wouldn't that be even more troublesome? After all, I am so outstanding, there are definitely a lot of women who want to stick to me. If they want to die, then I am finished. But this girl, Chiyu, Aunt dares to guarantee that she has no intention of marrying into our Yi family. You saw it just now. She can still go against you. but it is a pity that you angered her away, Sai. Yi Yuanqing sighed lightly and took a glance at Yi Yan. In the end, he is still a youngster. Can I change to another one? Aunt, don't make things difficult for me. There are definitely girls like that. Yi Yan said seriously, asking me to beg her again. Where's my face? If I lose my face, isn't that the same as losing my dad's face? Even if I have to jump off a cliff, I will not beg her. Yi Yuanqing shook her head. Nephew, do you think that any random girl will be able to pass? No matter if it is her appearance or her character, Chiyu is top-notch. If sister-in-law sees her, she will definitely be very happy. Yi Yan did not say anything. Indeed, I still have to consider my parents' taste. In any case, I am also an older brother. How can I be worse than Gadi? Although she is just an actress, she must still be a professional actress. Is she really good-looking? Yi Yan said softly. Yi Yuanqing covered her mouth and chuckled. Yi Yan said helplessly, Aunt, everyone loves beauty. It's normal. Didn't you say you were acting? Why do you care about your looks? Of course. After all, everyone in our family is so good-looking. Annie is also beautiful. Yi Yan immediately flattered, making Yi Yuanqing very happy. After all, she was an empress, and no one dared to praise her so directly. At least you know how to talk. But to be honest, I've never seen Chuyu's looks before. She's from another plane's royal family, and she's even a princess. Her beauty is second to none. Don't worry, I won't harm you. Holy sh*t, and she's the princess of another plane. This title isn't bad. Does this count as a friendship between the two countries? Looks like I, Yi Yan, will have to contribute as soon as I return. So that's how it is, Anna. But I have already angered her to that extent. Would she still help me? Yi Yan was a little uncertain. If he knew that he was looking for someone else, then he should keep a low profile. Don't make her angry. It was really the will of the heavens. Yi Yuanqing patted onto Yi Yan's shoulder. Nephew, Chiyu is very interested in our family. Do you understand? Yi Yan instantly understood. This Chiyu is indeed an envoy, but she also wants to find out about Yi family situation. That's why Chiyu's current request was exactly what she wanted. Hee, Aunt, you are too good. Hurry up and go. If not, she will really leave. All right, then Aunt will leave first. After I pacify my mother, I will come and thank Aunt. We are a family. Why are you being so polite? Don't bully Chiyu, do you understand? Don't worry, Aunt. Yi Yan waved his hand and immediately ran out. Yi Yuanqing laughed lightly and immediately contacted his big brother. Why did Yenner look for you? Yihua asked faintly. Big brother, Yenner asked me to find a girlfriend for him to coax sister-in-law. And then, didn't I just happen to have a girl who is both talented and virtuous, so I introduced her to Yi Yan. Big brother, I feel that they are quite compatible. Do you want to try matchmaking them? Is she reliable? Big brother, don't worry, she is just rather curious about our Yi family. The girl is very nice and gentle. She is a princess from another plane. And I will take a look at her when the time comes. I have troubled you regarding Yenner's matter. Big brother, what are you saying? Yenner is also my nephew. I still have to worry about things that I should be worried about. However, big brother, you and sister-in-law, don't mention them. Just hearing about them makes me angry. Yihua said gravely. All right, big brother, don't get angry and harm your body. We are all family. Yihua let out a light sigh. I have something to do here. When I am free, I will come over and accompany mother to have a meal. And I understand. Cutting off the voice transmission, Yi Yuanqing rubbed his forehead. Big brother's family matter sure is a bit troublesome. Right now, Yi Yan still didn't know that the matter of finding an actress had already been discovered by Yi Hua and was currently chasing after the carriage. Luckily, they didn't go too far and didn't leave the palace. Wait. Yi Yan immediately blocked in front of the carriage, startling the horse and causing it to let out a neigh. A cold voice came out from within the carriage. Son of Prince Yi, are you thinking of killing me in the palace? Yi Yan really wanted this Chiyu to change her way of addressing him, but right now, I have a favor to ask of her. No matter how angry I am, I have to endure it. Thus, Yi Yan's tensed face smiled and entered into the carriage. Vulgar, You are a girl, and the moment you open your mouth, it is so unharmonious, isn't it? Don't be so mischievous here, Chuyu said lightly. Yin, damn it, if it wasn't because I have a favor to ask of you, do I need to be so mischievous here? About that, actually, I feel that the weather today is really good. Yin wanted to say, but no matter what, he couldn't say it. This is too embarrassing. I should have let my aunt speak on my behalf. You have something you need my help with? Chuyu asked lightly. Just now, after scolding at Yin, he came over to block the carriage and even has a mischievous smile on his face. He definitely has a favor to ask of me. F***K. Am I that obvious? Yin laughed out loud, using his laughter to cover up his awkwardness. There is indeed such a small matter. Son of Prince Yi, don't tell me that you shouldn't apologize to me for what happened in the past. What? What is what? You are scolding me again, Chuyu said angrily. Does this son of Prince Yi like to bully people that much? Chapter 1341. No, definitely not. This is just the words from my hometown. It means to be surprised. Ian still had the ability to **T in order to make his mother happy. He had no bottom line. Chuyu nodded her head, then apologize. There's no need for that. I didn't do anything to you, and you scolded me too. Ian felt that this woman was just being unreasonable. Don't force me. You were stopped outside the palace. Was it me who brought you in? It's fine if you don't thank me, but you were still acting all high and mighty. And when you saw the Empress, you even humiliated me. I have never been humiliated like this in my life. If you weren't Prince Ye's son, damn, it's just a small matter, and you have already stretched the matter to the point of humiliation. Can you be even more shameless? And it's this kind of address again. All right, it's my fault. I shouldn't have humiliated you. Calm down. Yi Yin was helpless. He didn't want to lower himself to a woman's level. Now, he finally understood how troublesome women were, and he could also understand his father's sorrow. How could he endure his mother's bad temper? After hearing that, Chu did not say anything. It could be considered as accepting the apology, and her heart felt a bit better. You can help me now, right? When did I say that I will help you? You went into a daze. Hey, you can't go back on your words, right? Prince Ye's son, there seems to be a bit of a problem with your ability to understand. Damn, there's a problem with this understanding. This woman is the king of verbal cannons, the kind that can kill you with just a bit of faulty language. Seems like I can only use my big move. I hope that what Aunt said is right. Follow me home. Pretend to be my woman. Yi Yin directly stated his purpose. It was really simple and clear. Although Yi Yan's words made Chuyu go into a daze, she had actually guessed that the Empress wanted to talk about family matters with her nephew. Seems like this is what this Prince Ye's son is talking about. Yi family, seeing that Chuyu was hesitating, Yin felt refreshed. Seems like what Aunt said is right. Just now, you were suppressing me. Now I want to get back at you. If you're not willing, then forget it. I am leaving. Without waiting for Chuyu to react, Yi Yin directly jumped off the carriage. Actually, he was a bit nervous. What if this woman did not call him? What if she ran back obediently? No, this woman wanted to go to the Yi family. Now is the best time. She would definitely not let go of this opportunity. Yi Yin counted down in his heart as he walked back. I'll count to 10. This woman will definitely not be able to hold it in. If she can hold it in, I, young Master Yi, will eat shit live without frowning. The sound of the carriage rolling on the ground rang out. Yi Yin had already started counting down to 20, and this woman actually did not call out to me to stop. F***ck me. So powerful. If I turn around, I'll jump off the city wall. After quite a while, inside the carriage, Yi Yin said, "Beautiful lady, just help me, really, please." Yi Yin never beg anyone. Yi Yin was really defeated by this woman. Not in terms of force, but in terms of mentality. She was indeed the girl that his aunt liked. She was so stable and would definitely not give herself away in front of his parents. Prince Ye's son, I'm also an innocent woman. I'll pretend to be your wife and go home with you. Once you've done your job, what about my reputation? It can't be. You want me to marry you? The corner of Chuyu's mouth twitched. She wished that she could just kick Yi Yin and put aside her recuperation. You're thinking too much. It's good that you're not. If you have any requests, feel free to tell me. If I can satisfy it, I will satisfy all of them. Chiyu lightly rubbed her chin, then looked at Yi Yin and asked faintly, if you can tell me on what basis should I help you, I will promise you. On the basis that you are interested in my family. Yi Yin directly said. This caused Chiyu to go into a daze for a moment. After quite a while, she said, as expected of Prince Ye's son, I can promise you, but you have to promise me a few things. Tell me, I have already pretended to cooperate with you, but after we go to your family, you have to give me a detailed introduction. During this period of time, we are only pretending, and there cannot be any physical contact. Yi Yin was speechless. Big brother pretending to be husband and wife without any physical contact? Who would believe that? That will depend on the situation. If you do something excessive, even if I die, I will expose your conspiracy. Damn, isn't it just pretending to be husband and wife? You're making it seem like I am trying to usurp the throne. Relax, I'm not interested in you. Yi Yin took a glance at Chiyu. She was wrapped up tightly, and nothing could be seen on her body. However, Aunt said that her looks are not bad. As long as she is around the same as God Ye's wife, it will be fine. If I surpass her, it would seem like I'm acting cool. It better be like that. In the past, there have been men who said that before, but in the end, she really smells good. Yi Yan's jaw was about to drop onto the ground. Are you sure that this isn't someone from the same hometown? Relax. Even if I die, I will not do anything to you. Yi Yan patted his chest and said seriously, when are we going? We're going now. However, before that, we still have to discuss how we got to know each other. If not, if we ask about something that doesn't match up, that won't do. Chiyu nodded her head, agreeing with Yi Yan. I will bring you around Wushu Empire first. Have you been there before? Yi Yan asked curiously. Yes. Thinking about it, you will go there too. Tonight, I will bring you around the Imperial Palace. After hearing that, Chiyu became a bit nervous. After all, this is Prince Ye's house, and I didn't expect that I would be able to enter it this way. I have heard about it before, and now that I am able to see it with my own eyes, I am nervous and excited. Can you promise me one thing? Yi Yan said solemnly. What thing? Don't call me Prince Ye's son anymore. Just call me Brother Yan, all right? This kind of request was not too much, so Chiyu nodded her head and agreed. Then, since we're going to disguise ourselves, are you going to take off your veil? I have to take a look as well. If not, if someone asks me, I won't even know what you look like. You can be at ease. I'm still very confident in my looks. I will not make you lose face. Chiyu said lightly. Seems like she's indeed very confident in this aspect. Yi Yan did not force her. All right, but don't trick me. If you don't make me angry, I naturally won't trick you. Fortunately, that is not true. Yi Yan let out a light sigh. If I have a wife like this, I will really have a big headache. It is not good to be too smart. Sometimes, it is cuter for a woman to pretend to be stupid. Chiyu naturally heard what Yi Yan said, and she snorted coldly. The two directly went to Wushu Empire. Yi Yan and Chiyu also talked about how they got to know each other, and so on and so forth. Only after both of their testimonies matched up did Yi Yan feel at ease and bring Chiyu into the Imperial Palace. However, Yi Yan was also a bit nervous. If my disguise is seen through, I will be dead. Chapter 1342. At night, our whole family will be sitting together for dinner. Yi Yan said in a low voice as he walked in the palace with Chiyu. Is there anyone else? Chiyu asked in a low voice. My dad for moms, my big sister, my younger brothers and sisters, and also my grandma. Originally, my uncle's family would be here as well, but something happened today, and it's not a good thing. You will know about it in the future. Yi Yan didn't want to go into details. This should also be considered as a family scandal. So, it's better not to spread it out. This Chiyu is still an outsider, not one of us. Of course, Chiyu knew that Prince Yi had a younger brother, but hearing that there was a scandal, she was also quite curious. Seems like as long as one is a woman, one would have a gossipy heart. However, she was also curious about Yi Yan's brothers and sisters. Prince Ye's son, the situation in your family is indeed a bit complicated. Yi Yan felt a headache. Didn't we agree on how to address each other? Brother Yin, I'm sorry, I'm not used to it. Chiyu said softly, sounding very pleasant. Ian liked this kind of tone. Nice to hear, gentle enough. 100 times gentler than his mother's tone. It's really nice to hear you speak with this kind of tone. As a standard scumbag, Ian naturally knew how to coax a girl. However, Chiyu was a child that was a few hundred years old and had a lot of experience. It wasn't like she hadn't seen this kind of scumbag before. Men are all the type that talk glibly, especially those like Ian. They are very unreliable. What kind of tone I use when I speak will depend on what kind of attitude you have. All right, take it that I didn't say anything. However, can you take off your veil now? Do you want to run in front of my parents like this? Ian was actually very curious about Chiyu's appearance. His aunt said that she was a super beauty, but he didn't know if it was true or not. The custom of my hometown is like this. Girls that are not married cannot take off their veil. Chiyu didn't lie to Yin. This was a custom that couldn't be violated. Then, you can't be eating like this too, right? Later on, my parents will definitely ask you to take off your veil. Yin said seriously. After speaking for a while, he continued, if you don't take off your veil, my parents will think that you're not giving them face, and the situation will be even worse. I'll decide based on the situation, Chiyu said helplessly. It doesn't depend on the situation. It has to be. I'm not joking with you. My family isn't as simple as you think, especially when it comes to the marriage of our generation. Ian emphasized again and again. Don't pretend. Don't pretend and cause trouble. Chiyu nodded. I understand. All right, let's go. Ian stretched out his hand and held onto Chiyu's small hand. It feels not bad. Chiyu's small hand is soft, and it feels very comfortable to hold on to. Chiyu frowned but didn't say anything in the end. In order to see the legendary Yi family, the price she paid was quite big. Soon, the two of them arrived at Lu Jing's chamber. Chiyu could vaguely see the figures inside, and they were all sitting together. Ian was a little nervous. After all, this was a fake. It would be a little difficult to fool his parents. He hoped that nothing would go wrong tonight. Chiyu, hold on. Your palms are sweating. Ian, this Chiyu sure knows how to adjust the atmosphere. Ian became a little more relaxed as he held onto Chiyu's hand and walked into the main hall. Right now, Yihua's entire family was sitting together. The atmosphere didn't seem to be very good, and no one spoke. Seeing this atmosphere, Yi Yin felt a chill. If I were to be exposed, the situation would become even more depressing. Yi Yin tightened his grip on Chiyu's small hand, seemingly trying to cheer for Chiyu. However, Chiyu was currently even calmer than Yi Yin. To Chiyu, when she saw the legendary Lord Yi and such a large family, her heart surged. Ever since she heard about Yi family, she became incomparably curious. Just what kind of person was able to overthrow the rule of a deity? Look at Lord Yi, that domineering aura between his brows. That is the aura of a ruler that he was born with. Also, the woman beside him. She truly made me feel inferior. This will be my future goal. Grandma, Dad, Mothers, I'm back. Ian stood at the entrance and shouted out respectfully. Chiyu, who was at the side, immediately became nervous because everyone was looking at her. Even Dong Wang Li was very surprised. This Yin, where did he find such an actress in less than a day's time? Furthermore, he even appeared with a veil on. Doesn't he know that this is disrespectful? Idiot, are you trying to make Dad happy, or are you trying to make Dad unhappy? Who dares to wear a veil in front of Dad? Yi Lu was the same. Where did Big Brother find such an actress? Who dares to wear a veil in front of Dad? Yi Lu was the same as well. Where did Big Brother find such an actress? It can't be that he bought her with money, right? If Mom were to find out about this, wouldn't she spank your butt? God, he looked at Big Brother and was very puzzled. How did he suddenly get a girlfriend? Did he hide it so deeply? Lucien, Er's thoughts were different. Finally, there is someone that I can communicate with. Lu Jing was of course very happy when she saw this. She couldn't wait to have a house full of children and grandchildren. Although I can't see her face, just by standing there, I can feel a kind of gentleness and even a kind of amiable and approachable feeling. This kind of girl is indeed not bad. From the looks of it, her family background should be pretty good. I wonder how does she look like? Yihua looked at Chiyu. Yihua looked at Chiyu. So this is my younger sister's matchmaking. The girl looks not bad, but wearing a veil, it seems like she's not giving me face at all. As a junior, seeing that an elder is still wearing a veil, Yihua would naturally be a bit unhappy. Yi Yin seemed to be able to sense his father's unhappiness. I knew that this veil shouldn't be worn. You just didn't listen to me. Stupid woman, that. Dad. Mom, this is my girlfriend, Chu. Previously, I was embarrassed to bring her back, but today, I finally brought her back. Don't misunderstand. There is a rule in Chuyu's hometown. This unmarried girl cannot take off her veil. Yin hurriedly explained. I can't let Dad and Mom be unhappy. I was already unhappy to begin with. If I make things worse, that would not be good. Hearing that, Yihua asked faintly, Unmarried girl? Cannot take off her veil? Yin, in that case, even you have never seen her before? Yi Yin was immediately speechless. Dad attacked so quickly, so ferocious. Thus, Yi Yin directly touched Chuyu's palm. Who asked you to act cool? Look at what happened now. At this moment, Chuyu said respectfully, Prince Yi, Chuyu has been rude. However, this is the rule of my hometown. Chuyu has no choice. Brother Yin and I are truly in love with each other. This is a heart-to-heart communication. Yihua knew about the inside story. Towards Chuyu's reply, he was rather satisfied. However, you two little things, you are actually faking it in such a dignified way. Chapter 1343. You guys are really not putting me, your father, in your eyes. Then I can only let you guys give birth to a child to apologize to me. Yi Yin was startled. Who are you trying to bluff? Heart-to-heart communication, so you didn't even blink when lying. Yin, you two have never even seen Chuyu's face before? Qingya asked in shock. This is too exaggerated. Could it be that this is true love? Dong Wangli almost laughed out. Can the two of you be a bit more serious? At least check your statements before coming here. Looking at the situation, it seems like both of you didn't check your statements properly. Towards his mother's question and answer, Yi Yin could only brace himself and say, Mom, do I look like the kind of man who would judge a book by its cover? I like Chuyu's inner beauty. Puchi, Yi Lu couldn't hold it in anymore and laughed out. Liking other people's inner beauty, Yi Yin glared at his sister. If not for you, would your brother have done such a thing? I even begged her to pretend to be Chuyu. What a loss. Lu-er, Qing called out in a low voice. Sorry, Mom. Lu-er forgot myself. Yi Lu hurriedly apologized. Under normal circumstances, Yi Lu wouldn't laugh unless I couldn't hold it in anymore. Dongwang Baiji laughed. Come and sit down first. Chuyu, don't be restrained. Since Yin brought you into the house from now on, we are a family. Yi Yin let out a sigh of relief and pulled Chuyu to sit down first. This can be considered as passing the first test. At this moment, Lu Jing asked kindly, Yin, how did you two get to know each other? Before Yi Yin finished speaking, Yihua asked faintly, Lu, do you know that your brother is looking for a girlfriend? Yi Yin thought to himself, this is bad, Lu. If you were to trick me today, even if I become a ghost, I won't let you off. Yi Lu's heart sunk. His mind was frantically trying to pretend that he understood. Right now, Yi Lu's IQ was increasing at a rocket speed. The truth proved that when a person is lying, their IQ is like Einstein. I don't know, Yi Lu said lightly and gave a very good answer. Yi Yin let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, I didn't trick my brother. Yihua asked, Tell me, how did you hide it? Yi Yin prepared to tell her. Yin, I'm not asking you to say it. I'm asking your wife to say it. Yihua said faintly. He was already referring to Chuyu as his son's wife. This made Chuyu a little embarrassed, but she still followed the plan. That was 2 years ago. Back then, Brother Yin was training. At that time, I met a few bad guys. Fortunately, Brother Yin appeared in time. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. After hearing that, Yihua let out a sigh in his heart. Can't the two of you come up with an interesting meeting scene? This kind of melodramatic plot. Your old man, I have long stopped using it. Ian added, At first, I didn't have any feelings for Chuyu. Me too, Chuyu immediately said, as if she was a little angry. However, this made Qinya and the others feel that these two people are a bit interesting. From the looks of it, these two people are the kind of people who like to quarrel. When Yi Yin heard Chuyu actually refuting him, he immediately secretly tugged at Chuyu's clothes. What do you mean? You're being too unreasonable at this time. But Chuyu must repay me with her body. You were the one who chased me relentlessly. Everyone, just how many versions are there? Dong Wang Li turned her face away. Are you two joking around? However, in Yihua's eyes, this plot was actually not bad. There was a bit of a twist in the plot. Continue. Who's chasing who? Him. Her. From the looks of it, these two people are really at loggerheads with each other, and everything that was agreed upon previously is thrown to the back of their minds. Looking at her son and future daughter-in-law, Qinya had a smile on her face, and her mood immediately became much better. All right, you have to treat girls better. Don't be calculated with girls all the time. Don't be like your father. Qinya said tenderly, and conveniently, even Yihua was being talked about. Yihua said faintly, "What about me? Back then, weren't you the one who chased me? If it wasn't for Yin, would I be able to look for you? If you have the ability, then don't look for me." Everyone had a stupefied look on their face. As they spoke, Yihua and Qingye actually started scolding each other. Seeing that his parents actually started scolding each other, Yi Yin felt extremely anxious in his heart. From the looks of it, the more they quarrel, the fiercer they will become. I was still thinking of bringing my girlfriend back to ease the tension. I can only change the topic. Change what topic? What topic? This is what we are interested in. Dad, Mom. Actually, I brought Chuyu back today. It's because Chuyu has a child. Yihua and Qinya immediately stopped what they were doing, then looked at Yi Yin and Chuyu with a face full of astonishment. Not only Yihua and Qinya, everyone else was the same. Their jaws were about to drop onto the table. Dong Wang Li was astonished in her heart. Bro, this nonsense of yours is too much. Let's see when you're going to give birth to a child. Chuyu was also incomparably astonished. There was no such thing in the plan. After hearing that, Lu Jing became extremely happy, and her expression immediately became better. You are pregnant? That's great. Yin is really not bad. Yi wouldn't even bother to quarrel with Qinya anymore. On the other hand, I am curious. How are you planning to give birth to a child? You know? Qinya's expression immediately changed. Really? You aren't lying to Mom? At this moment, Yi Yin regretted, why did I say that I am pregnant? It's true. Yi Yin was helpless. I am the one who is faking it. Even if I die, I have to finish faking it. Wow, when did this happen? Qing Yutong asked curiously. However, the question was directed towards Chuyu. Chuyu didn't know what to say anymore. This shameless Yi Yin. He is definitely taking revenge on me. However, what else can I do right now? This is just like that saying, a small lie. In the end, I have to use even more lies to cover it up. It has already been a month, Chuyu said with a bashful tone. That's why I directly brought her back. Yin added. After hearing that, Yihuan nodded his head. Not bad. She is pregnant. Shun, you two have to work hard as well. God Yi went into a daze for a moment, then hurriedly said, Daddy, Xian and I are currently working hard. Lu Xian, pinched God Yi ferociously under the table. What work hard? You liar. You tricked me into your house, then took possession of me. Yihua's child is born with the attribute of possessiveness. Dongwang Baiji looked at her son and seemed to be saying, Look at your brother. He only brought her home after getting pregnant. You should do the same. Qinya said tenderly, Chu, since the two of you have already developed to such a stage, can you take off this veil and let everyone take a look at you? Chu had already said it to this extent. What else could Chu do? Chu could be seen slowly raising her hand and taking off the veil. Everyone was curious about what Yi Yan's girlfriend looked like. Even Yi Yan himself was curious. Chapter 1344. When Yihua saw Chuyu's appearance, he was dumbfounded. Lu Jing was also dumbfounded. Qinya and the others were also dumbfounded. Daji, who was standing at the side, was also dumbfounded. Only the children were amazed. Just that, the exclamations from both sides were different. The children were exclaiming over Chuyu's looks. She's indeed very beautiful. However, What made Yihua and the others exclaim in surprise was that Chuyu's appearance was too similar to a person's to the extent that it felt as if Chuyu was standing right in front of their eyes, and they could even meet that person's gaze. Chuyu seemed very gentle, but there was a bit of redness on her face, seeming to be a bit shy. Daji couldn't help but shout. That's right. Chuyu's appearance was very similar to Yi's, with a 99% similarity. As for the 1% difference, it was probably just that her hair was slightly longer, and she didn't look like she was trembling with fear. After all, when Yi was in the palace at that time, she was always nervous and panicky. Chuyu was nervous now, but of course, she was more embarrassed. When the children heard the words Yi, they were all very unfamiliar. After all, no one had told them about Yi's story, so they were very confused. Yihua was indeed very surprised. I didn't expect that I would actually be able to see someone who looks so similar to Yi. And furthermore, this person even came to my house. Was this deliberately arranged by the heavens? Qian Yuqing looked at Chuyu and immediately thought of Yi's situation at that time. It was a really sad process. Dongwang Baiji came back to her senses and asked earnestly, Chuyu, how old are you right now? Annie, I'm 119 years old now. Chuyu lowered her head slightly and said shyly. It was really embarrassing to say out a girl's age. She was still too young. Puff. Ian almost puked out a mouthful of blood. Such a beautiful girl, and she is actually so old. Just how old am I? I am not even 20 years old yet. She was actually 119 years old. Oh my God. This is just an old woman, but her appearance is really good looking, especially that pair of eyes. With a single look, it's very hard to forget. No wonder he became a masked man. He did have some real skills. Upon hearing Chuyu's age, Qinya immediately denied the idea of reincarnation. Yi had died 12 years ago, and Chuyu had already existed for a long time. It was very normal for there to be people who looked alike in this world. Lu Jing kindly smiled and said, She's still a little girl. She's really a good match for Yen. When Yin heard his grandmother's words, his jaw almost dropped onto the table. Grandmother, 119 years old. Can this still be considered as a little girl? She was old enough to be his grandmother. However, for a person who could easily live for tens of thousands of years, a person who was over 100 years old was indeed no different from a child. She was even a minor. Qian Yuqing curiously asked, Chuyu, what do your parents do? Do you have any brothers or sisters? Chuyu said honestly, Annie, I have 5 older brothers, 6 older sisters, 8 younger brothers, and 10 younger sisters. My father is the ruler of a country, and my mother is the mother of country. Yihua knew about Chuyu's background, so he wasn't too surprised. On the other hand, the others were a little surprised. This Chuyu was actually a princess. No wonder she had such a good recuperation. However, they also dispelled a question, which was that Yi didn't die, but had lost her memory. After all, he had so many brothers and sisters, so it was unlikely that he would lose his memory. But for the sake of safety, he still had to investigate it. He didn't want to make the matter more problematic. Qinya and Dongwang Baiji looked towards Yihua. Their meaning was very clear. They still had to investigate Chuyu's background. Yihua also knew about it. He immediately sent a voice transmission to Wei Chong and told Wei Chong to investigate Chuyu from the moment she was born. Chuyu could clearly sense that everyone was behaving strangely. Could it be that there was a problem with my appearance? To actually be so surprised. The children were also very confused. Could it be that something else happened during this period of time? Suddenly, Dongwang Li recalled that Daji had called out to Yi just now. It was clear that Daji had seen Chuyu's appearance. Also, Uncle seemed to have mentioned Yi on the street today, and that's why he got so angry. Could it be that this Yi is related to Uncle? What the hell? Why does Dongwang Li feel that Yi Yin brought a troublesome person home? At this moment, Blood Demon carried the dishes onto the table. This was the first time that Chuyu had tasted such dishes. She really wanted to eat more, but she felt embarrassed, because doing so would make her seem like she wasn't reserved enough. Yihua took a look at Lu Xiener, who was at the side, who was about the same age as her. God had been helping Lu Xiener to pick up the dishes, and Lu Xiener was eating so happily. Yihua then took a look at the one at the side, who only cares about eating by herself. Can't you pick up some dishes for me? Are you a blockhead? Do you really need me to call you before you eat? Seems like the temptation that girls have towards delicacies is very high. Therefore, under the table, Chiyu ruthlessly pinched Yi Yin. Ouch, why did you pinch me? Yi Yin immediately jumped up. After jumping up, he felt that something was wrong. This doesn't seem to be a reaction that one should have towards a girlfriend. With a smile on her face, Qingyu shook her head. These two children are quite interesting, and their relationship seems to be quite good. Seeing that Yi Yin had such a big reaction, Chuyu's face became even redder. This Yi Yin, he definitely did this on purpose to make me look bad. You said that you will take care of me and the child, and all you know is to eat by yourself. Chiyu immediately launched a counterattack. Since Piao Miao's child has already been brought out, then I will properly bring out the child. Child, just what did I do wrong? I'm not even an egg yet. And you're already starting to use me to make a fuss. Are there any parents like you too? Qingyu felt a headache coming on. I nearly forgot that Chuyu is the flesh and blood of a son. Yin'er, you're also someone who is going to be a father. No matter what, you have to learn to take care of people. Don't be impatient. Get rid of your previous bad habits. Yi Yin stuttered for a while, but still couldn't think of anything to refute. It is all my fault. Why did I have to say that I am pregnant? Great, if I didn't treat her well, I would have said that. Don't think that just because you are beautiful, you can do whatever you want. Yi Yin will fall for this. What do you want to eat? Yi Yin said petulantly. After hearing that, Qingyu became unhappy. Why is this tone of yours the same as that scoundrel father of yours? My son cannot become the second Yihua. Yina, is this your attitude? Yin, Mom, what other attitude can I have? This is a fake. The person is fake. The child is also fake. Auntie, it's fine. I'm already used to it. What a ruthless woman. I, Yin, have finally experienced it today. I regret. I shouldn't have brought you home. Right now, I have shot myself in the foot. Chiyu, call me Mom. In the future, Mom will take care of you. If this fellow dares to bully you, Mom will break his leg. Ian was stupefied. This brat is already calling me Mom, and she still wants to take care of me. Chapter 1346. Following Yi Hua's words, the entire world seemed to have quietened down. Although Yi Hua was angry, he didn't say those words out of anger. Instead, it seemed to be the result that he came up with after careful consideration. However, it wasn't the result after consideration. Nobody knew whether those words were said out of anger or something else. But no matter what it was, it still shocked everyone. Thinking about it was one thing, but if his honor were to really say it out loud, the effect would be different. The subordinates that were outside didn't say anything. For things to develop to this point, it was completely what the two madams wanted. There was nothing to persuade them. His honor wasn't that easy to talk to. The children in the house were all shocked. After being away for 12 years, this is the second day. Their parents were about to separate. They couldn't accept such a thing at all. Now they didn't know what to say at all. Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing were very shocked, but they also knew in their hearts that this was the result of forcing Yi Hua to do something. Qingya and Dongwang Baiji didn't expect that Yi Hua would really say it out loud. In actuality, this was not the result that they wanted. They only wanted to listen to Yi Hua's explanation and receive the concern of a husband. That's all. However, they had neglected an important question, and that was, concern should be mutual. Why should it only be the man who is concerned? As a woman, if she couldn't even care about her husband, what qualifications did she have to ask her husband to do something? At the very least, this was what Yi Hua was thinking in his heart. In the past, I'd accommodated you all and allowed you all to have a little temper. However, this kind of temper is not something that can be endured for a long time. For this woman, you actually want to abandon us. Qingya pointed at the woman at the side and said gravely while looking at Yi Hua. This was the ability of women to twist the truth. She clearly didn't care about other people's affairs, but she could still drag them into it. This was the scariest part about women. They were unreasonable. But reasoning with a woman is also a mistake. Yi Hua didn't want to talk about these useless things with them at all, since we have already come to a decision. then let's part on good terms. Following Yi Hua's words, Qinya and Dongwang Baiqi revealed a kind of expression in their eyes. This kind of expression was filled with indignation, and even more so, fear. However, at this moment, the door was pushed open again. Daji supported Lu Jing and slowly walked in. When Yi Hua saw that his mother had arrived, he called out lightly, "Mother." Lu Jing nodded and looked at the situation. She had just said it last night, but she didn't expect it to still blow up. It was even to the extent that the whole city knew about it. "Mother." Qin Yutong and Qian Yuqing called out lightly, "Grandma." The four children also called out. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji stared at Yi Hua, as if they wanted to rub Yi Hua's face, make him reorganize his words, and say it again. "If there's anything, we'll talk about it when we get home." Qinya, Baiji, as the Empress, pay attention to your appearance. Don't let others see us as a joke. Lu Jing actually knew that it wasn't their fault, but it was wrong of them to come out and cause trouble today. This had already reached the level of a shrew. Qinya looked at Lu Jing, and tears immediately flowed down from her eyes. "Mother, look at Yi Hua. He didn't come back for an entire night and was fooling around with this woman. Even after we saw him, he still doesn't want to admit it." "Qinya, that's enough. Which one of your eyes saw that I did something to her?" Upon hearing what Qinya said, Yi Hua immediately became angry. "Damn it, this is making something out of nothing. Just like before, stupid woman." Lu Jing took a look at the woman on the ground. "To be honest, the woman is quite pretty, but my son definitely won't fall for her." Qinya and Dongwang Baiji just wanted to use this matter to cause trouble with Yi Hua and let out all of the resentment that they had accumulated over the years. "Enough. All of you stop talking. Are you two trying to anger me to death?" Lu Jing rarely got angry, and from the time Yi Hua met his mother had never gotten angry at him. However, today his mother got angry, and it wasn't a small one. Yi Hua looked at his mother and slightly lowered his head, expressing that he didn't mean it that way. It was all because of these two women. In the past, I would still think that I would be able to teach them well, but from the looks of it now, I am completely unable to teach them well. Qinya and Dongwang Baiji hurriedly lowered their heads and said, "Mother, we didn't mean it that way." "That's good. Since you two don't want to anger me to death, then go back and quarrel with me. Go back and scold me. You two can do whatever you want, but don't lose face outside." Lu Jing shouted out gravely, then turned around and left. Daji took a look at her master, then silently left with Lu Jing. This time, Lu Jing didn't side with anyone, because it wasn't good to side with anyone. Thus, he might as well scold both sides together. Yi Hua snorted coldly, then immediately disappeared from the spot. Looking at Yi Hua disappearing without saying a word, Qinya and Dongwang Baiji immediately started bawling out loud. "That grievance, that pain. Yi Hua, you are a scoundrel. How can you say such a thing?" Dongwang Baiji hammered the floor and shouted out, "What did I do wrong? In the past, I was obedient to you, and you can play with me however you want. But now, you are ignoring me, and you even said such a thing." Dongwang Baiji felt terrible to the max. Qinya felt the same as well. Her heart felt as if it was about to be torn apart. Seeing that their mother was crying out loud without caring about her image, the children walked forward and consoled their mother. Although their mouths were saying words of consolation, in their hearts, they were thinking, "Isn't this all because of you two? We can clearly be happy together, but mother, you two insist on increasing the difficulty." Soon after, His Honor's subordinates left as well. I wonder what His Honor is thinking. However, looking at His Honor's attitude just now, he doesn't seem to be that ruthless. His Honor's mother is still the formidable one, to be able to settle everything with just a sentence or two. Although His Honor's words weren't ruthless, this time it was His Honor's wife's turn. If His Honor's wife is willing to lower her head, then things would be easy to settle. If His Honor's wife is still not willing to lower her head and still wants to argue with His Honor, then there would really be no hope left. Qinya and Dongwang Baiji cried for a very long time, then left with the children. Using Dongwang Li's words, "Right now, father and mother both need to calm down and for the time being, they shouldn't meet each other, lest they start scolding each other the moment they see each other. Sigh, I really didn't expect that big brother and big sister-in-law would actually quarrel to this extent. Yi Juetian didn't return back to the palace in a hurry, and he brought along Gong Yu and walked around the city. Gong Yu hugged onto Yi Juetian's arm very tightly. Big brother and big sister-in-law's relationship was indeed very good in the past, but as time passes, no matter how strong the relationship is, it will eventually fade. Yi Juetian went into a daze, and he couldn't help but appear in his mind. From start to finish, my feelings towards Yi have never faded, even after so many years have passed. As for Gong Yu, who is beside me right now, perhaps it's only because of our children. That's why we are together. Yi Juetian didn't know anymore, and right now his mind was in a bit of a mess. Gong Yu didn't react at all, but that didn't mean that Yi Juetian didn't react. After all, he had trained outside for so long, and this kind of killing intent was already a common thing. Facing such a situation, Yi Juetian stood still and did not move, because there was no need for him to move. He would be able to block the attack with just his aura. The tip of the sword seemed to pierce through the air, emitting an ear-piercing sword cry. The thunder is loud, but the rain is small. This was the portrayal of the current situation. The tip of the sword was still a fist's length away from Yi Juetian's forehead when it stopped moving. It was completely blocked by a vicious aura. "Who are you? Why do you want to kill me?" Yi Juetian asked curiously. To be able to remain calm in the face of such an assassination meant that Yi Juetian had indeed matured. "You heartless man, I will take revenge for Meng Yao today." Everyone was dumbfounded by Meng Li's words. Heartbreaker? The emperor's younger brother was a heartless man? Who was that Meng Yao? From the looks of it, the royal family was really in a mess. Just a moment ago, the royal family was still in martial law. Presumably, something happened to the emperor. Right now, the emperor's own younger brother actually became a heartless person. This is clearly messing around. If not, why would other people raise their swords and charge at the royal family with no regard for their lives, seemingly wanting to perish together with the royal family? Gong Yu rarely left the palace, and even to the extent that Gong Yu didn't know Meng Li. But after hearing Meng Li's words, Gong Yu knew that this woman's concern for Yi wasn't shallow. It's over. Absolute heaven is going to know about it. I didn't expect that on the second day after I returned, Zhu Tian would find out about it. I thought that I would be able to hide it from Zhu Tian for a few years, and by then, Zhu Tian would have forgotten about it. At this moment, Yi Juetian was frozen stiff. That single sentence had revealed too much information. Meng Yao? Wasn't it just Yi? To avenge Meng Yao? Kill a heartless man like him? In order to avenge Yi? Yi Juetian's eyes instantly turned red, and killing intent uncontrollably emitted out from his body. A huge sea of blood seemed to have appeared behind him, and the long sword in Meng Li's hand instantly turned into dust. "Speak. What? What happened to Yi?" Yi Juetian grabbed onto Meng Li's wrist and questioned coldly. An overflowing anger was swelling up in his heart, and it seemed like it would explode at any moment. "You still have a face to ask. Meng Yao is already dead. She had already died 12 years ago." These words were just like a bolt from the blue, seemingly wanting to strike Yi Juetian down. "Yi is dead? How is that possible?" Chapter 1355. At night, our whole family will be sitting together for dinner. Yi Yin said in a low voice as he walked in the palace with Chuyu. "Is there anyone else?" Chuyu asked in a low voice. "My dad for moms, my big sister, little brothers and sisters, and also my grandma. Originally, my uncle's family would be here as well, but something happened today, and it isn't anything good. You will know about it in the future." Yi Yin didn't go into details. This should also be considered as a family scandal. So, it's better not to spread it out. This Chuyu is still an outsider, not one of us. Of course, Chuyu knew that Prince Yi had a younger brother, but hearing that there was a scandal, she was also quite curious. Seems like as long as one is a woman, one would have a gossipy heart. However, she was also curious about Yi Yan's brothers and sisters. Prince Ye's son, the situation in your family is indeed a bit complicated. Yi Yan felt a headache. Didn't we agree on how to address each other? Brother Yin, I'm sorry, I'm not used to it. Chiyu said softly, sounding very pleasant. Yi Yan liked this kind of tone, nice to listen to, gentle enough. 100 times gentler than his mother's tone. This kind of tone of yours is really nice to listen to. As a standard scumbag, Yi Yan naturally knew how to coax a girl. However, Chiyu was a child that was a few hundred years old and had a lot of experience. It wasn't like she hadn't seen this kind of scumbag before. Men were all the type of people that talk nonsense, especially people like Yi Yan. They were very unreliable. What kind of tone I use when I speak will depend on what kind of attitude you have. All right, take it that I didn't say anything. However, can you take off your veil now? Do you want to run in front of my parents like this? Yi Yan was actually very curious about Chiyu's appearance. His aunt said that she was a super beauty, but he didn't know if it was true or not. The custom of my hometown is like this. Girls that are not married cannot take off their veil. Chiyu didn't lie to Yi Yan. This was a custom that couldn't be violated. Then, you can't be eating like this too, right? Later on, my parents will definitely ask you to take off your veil. Yi Yan said seriously. After speaking for a while, he continued. If you don't take off your veil, my parents will think that you are not giving them face, and the situation will be even worse. I'll decide based on the situation, Chiyu said helplessly. It doesn't depend on the situation. It has to be. I'm not joking with you. My family isn't as simple as you think, especially when it comes to the marriage of our generation. Ian emphasized again and again. Don't pretend. Don't pretend and cause trouble. Chiyu nodded. I understand. All right, let's go. Ian stretched out his hand and held onto Chiyu's small hand. It feels not bad. Chiyu's small hand is soft, and it feels very comfortable to hold on to. Chiyu frowned, but didn't say anything in the end. In order to see the legendary Yi family, the price she paid was quite big. Soon, the two of them arrived at Lu Jing's chamber. Chiyu could vaguely see the figures inside, and they were all sitting together. Ian was a little nervous. After all, this was a fake. It would be a little difficult to fool his parents. He hoped that nothing would go wrong tonight. Chiyu, hold on. Your palms are sweating. Ian, this Chiyu sure knows how to adjust the atmosphere. Ian became a little more relaxed as he held onto Chiyu's hand and walked into the main hall. Right now, Yihua's entire family was sitting together. The atmosphere didn't seem to be very good, and no one spoke. Seeing this atmosphere, Ian felt a chill. If I were to be exposed, the situation would become even more depressing. Ian tightened his grip on Chiyu's small hand, seemingly trying to cheer for Chiyu. However, Chiyu was currently even calmer than Ian. To Chiyu, when she saw the legendary Lord Yi and such a large family, her heart surged. Ever since she heard about Yi family, she became incomparably curious. Just what kind of person was able to overthrow the rule of a deity? Look at Lord Yi, that domineering aura between his brows. That is the aura of a ruler that he was born with. Also, the woman beside him, she truly made me feel inferior. This will be my future goal. Grandma, Dad, Mothers, I'm back. Ian stood at the entrance and shouted out respectfully. Chiyu, who was at the side, immediately became nervous because everyone was looking at her. Dong Wangli was also very surprised. This Yin, where did he find such an actress in less than a day's time? Furthermore, he even appeared so mysteriously, wearing a veil. Doesn't he know that this is disrespectful? Idiot, are you trying to make Dad happy or make Dad unhappy? Who dares to wear a veil in front of Dad? Yilu was the same as well. Where did Big Brother find such an actress? It can't be that he bought her with money, right? If Mom were to find out about this, wouldn't she spank your butt? God, he looked at Big Brother and was very confused. How did he suddenly get a girlfriend? Did he hide it so deeply? Lucien, Er's thoughts were different. Finally, there is someone that I can communicate with. Lu Jing was of course very happy when she saw this, and she couldn't wait to have a house full of children and grandchildren. Although I can't see the face of the girl, just by standing there, I can feel a kind of gentle feeling and even a kind of amiable feeling. This kind of girl is indeed not bad. From the looks of it, Her family background should be pretty good. I wonder how does she look like? Yihua looked at Chuyu. Yihua looked at Chuyu. So this is my younger sister's matchmaking? The girl looks not bad, but wearing a veil doesn't seem to be giving me face. As a junior, seeing that an elder is still wearing a veil, Yihua would naturally be a bit unhappy. Yiyan seemed to be able to sense his father's unhappiness. I knew that this veil shouldn't be worn, but you just didn't listen, stupid woman. Dad, Mom, this is my girlfriend, Chu. I was embarrassed to bring her back before, but I finally brought her back today. Don't misunderstand. There is a rule in Chiyu's hometown. Unmarried girls cannot remove their veil. Yin hurriedly explained. I can't let Dad and Mom be unhappy. They were already unhappy to begin with, and if things become worse, that would not be good. Hearing that, Yihua asked faintly, Unmarried girl? Cannot remove her veil? Yin In that case, even you have never seen her before? Yin was immediately speechless. Dad attacked so quickly, so ferocious. Thus, Yin directly touched Chuyu's palm. Who asked you to act cool? Look at what happened now. At this moment, Chuyu said respectfully, Prince Yi, Chu has been rude, but this is the rule of my hometown. Chuyu can't do anything about it. Brother Yin and I are truly in love with each other, and this is a heart-to-heart communication. Yihua knew the inside story, and towards Chuyu's reply, he was rather satisfied. However, you two little things, you are actually faking it in such a dignified manner. Chapter 1358. Mom, I am your biological son. I am not that kind of son that is given to you as a gift. Mom, I didn't bully her. She was just pretending. Chuyu slightly lowered her head. I didn't dare. I was afraid that he would hit me. Yihua wanted to praise Chuyu. This girl is not bad. This plot is not bad. This is a bit interesting. What? Yiyan, how can you hit your wife? Other people even gave birth to your child, but your father didn't even do this to you. Yihua's expression sunk. Does this count as me being unjustly implicated? Mom, I didn't hit her. I really didn't hit her. Yin hurriedly explained. This old woman, just you wait for me, young Master Yi. Chuyu revealed out that kind of expression of daring to say, but also not daring to say. She's simply a drama queen. As expected, in Yi family, acting is an essential skill. However, right now, Yin was completely speechless. Why is your expression so rich? If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have brought her home, even if I was beaten to death. Aunt, we have only met for the first time, and you already gave your nephew such a big gift. This is simply a huge trap. Chuyu, if you have anything to say, just say it. I want to see how bad this little bastard is. Mom, my God, this feeling is so good that it's going to explode. Dongwang Baiji was envious. My daughter-in-law hasn't even called me Mom yet. Lu Xin'er felt a bit dizzy. My God, just what should I do? God Yi is the same. Big brother's completely stirring up trouble. Dongwang Li was about to roll over from laughing in her heart. This matter is becoming more and more interesting. Good child, Mom will stand up for you. I don't dare. I'm afraid that he will bully me. Ian really wants to bully Chuyu right now. Didn't I just say a few words at my aunt's place? And she is repaying kindness with enmity? Can't she be reasonable? I have even forgotten about it. How can I be reasonable with a woman? Chuyu, Yiyan gave a serious warning. Don't go overboard. Yiyan, you sit down. Qingyu shouted out gravely. This is too outrageous to actually shout at a pregnant woman. You're just like your father. Back then, didn't you shout at me like this too? At that time, I was also pregnant. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. Seeing that his mother was really angry, Yiyan immediately stopped talking. A good hand had turned into a bad hand. Chuyu seemed to have felt it as well, and immediately stopped talking. However, in Qingya's eyes, Chuyu seemed to be very scared. She is simply like a girl who is being abused at home. She is truly pitiful. She is even more formidable than your father. Speak, Chuyu. Mom, it's nothing. It's really nothing. I'm just talking nonsense. Following Chuyu's explanation, Yiyan directly covered his forehead. You really want to King kill me? Look at your expression. Qingya asked gravely. Could it be that he is looking for a girl outside? I made you angry. He's still looking for girls outside. Chuyu exclaimed. All right, everyone was speechless. This mother was really good at tricking her son. Poor Yin, what a tragedy. Dongwang Li really wanted to leave the auditorium. She wanted to laugh loudly outside for 5 minutes before coming back in. A smile could be seen on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. This Qingya, how can you screw your son over like this? Qingya seemed to have realized it as well, and she felt a bit awkward. The atmosphere seemed to have quietened down. Yin hurriedly picked up some food and passed it to Chiyu. My mother is just talking nonsense. Be good, don't be angry. Chiyu turned her head away and ignored Yin. She is simply a movie empress-level expert. Even Qing Yutong admires her. Yin secretly pulled Chiyu, meaning that it's enough. Give me a way out of this embarrassing situation. Chiyu naturally knew that it was enough, and she silently picked up her chopsticks. This made everyone let out a sigh of relief. This is much better. Chiyu, eat more, don't be polite. Okay, Mom, Chiyu said tenderly, causing Qingya to be very happy. This caused Dongwang Baiji to directly look towards her son, seemingly saying, let your wife call me Mom too. What is God Yi trying to do? Luciener had no other choice. I have already boarded the pirate ship. Is there still a chance for me to get off? That is impossible. That is why I have to please my mother-in-law. Mom, eat. Luciener took the initiative to pick up some food and passed it to Dongwang Baiji, and even called out sweetly, causing Dongwang Baiji to be extremely happy. Good child, you eat more too. What else could Chiyu do? Since others have already done it, although I am pretending, I still have to do it properly. Thus, Chiyu also picked up some food and passed it to Qingya. Mom, you eat more too. All right, you are both good children. Qingya smiled to the point that even her gums were revealed. Yi Hua shook his head. You two are too exaggerated. But then again, only calling me Mom and not Dad? That means that you're not giving me face. Aren't you afraid that I, the Supreme Overlord, will make things difficult for you too? Dad, you eat more too. Yi Hua was gratified that the two girls who had never married into his family started to curry favor with him. Of course, there was also Lu Jing. Lu Jing was grinning from ear to ear. The day of having many children and grandchildren is just around the corner. The meal was very harmonious, and Yian's goal was also achieved. Yian felt much more at ease. Father and mother no longer quarreled, and their relationship seemed to have stabilized. Yi Hua placed down his chopsticks and said faintly, Chiyu, since you are pregnant, take good care of the fetus in the future. One of my subordinates' medical skills is not bad. Let him take a look and prescribe some medicine for you. Yin and Chiyu immediately froze. If this lie is discovered, Father will definitely fly into a rage. Not only Father, Mother will also feel the same way. Just that, the two children still did not know about their father's tricks and were currently frantically thinking about how they're going to get away from this. Dad, the child is very stable right now. It is fine to take a look at the child after a period of time. Chiyu could only stall for time. I never expected that the matter would come to this. Yian hurriedly followed up and said, Dad, what Chiyu said is right. The child is still very healthy right now. No matter how healthy a child is, they still need to take a look at the child. This will allow your mother and I to be at ease. Yihua's words seemed to be correct, causing Yian to have an even bigger headache. Suddenly, Yian looked towards his big sister. Dad, big sister's medical skills are not bad, and big sister is also a girl. It will be more convenient for her to take a look at the child. Big sister, I'm sorry. Since you dug a pit for little brother can only dig a pit for you. However, you must definitely help little brother. If not, Daddy will beat the sh*t out of you. Qingya is definitely the same. It seems a bit inconvenient to let Qing Su go and take a look at the child. Just let Ali go and take a look at Chiyu. Dongwang Baiji smiled tenderly. Dongwang Li nodded her head. All right, I understand. After eating, I will go and take a look at the child, then tell father and mother about it. Yi Hua said in a low voice, All right, I'm already full. You two can slowly eat. Following Yi Hua's decision, Yin said respectfully, Mom, I will bring Chiyu to familiarize herself with the palace first. Big sister, Let's take a walk together. Chapter 1359. Dong Wang Li let out a light sigh. When you get into trouble, you only know to ask your big sister to clean up after you. Just how old are you now? The three of them walked out of Lu Jing's bedroom. When they thought they were far enough, Yi Yin and Chu Yu instantly separated. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Dong Wang Li looked at the two of them. The two of them actually have such a tacit understanding with each other. Dong Wang Li feels that the two of them are rather compatible with each other. Look at what you just said. I'm about to be scolded to death by my mother. Yi Yin began to lecture his wife. Everyone, come and see. Aren't you trying to frame me? When did I have a child with you? I think you're up to no good. How did I not have good intentions? If it wasn't for you messing around, would I have said those words? Do you think that I wanted to? Anyway, it's all your fault. Think of a way yourself. Huh? All my fault? Looking at your performance just now, I almost wanted to kneel down and call you Mom, big brother. With a sound, Dong Wang Li, who was standing at the side, started laughing. These two people are simply too funny, much more interesting than my little brother and his wife. Sis, why are you still laughing? If you didn't trick me, would I be like this? Are you here to knock her up? Dong Wang Li replied, if big sister was a man, I would be very happy to help you, little brother. Yi Yin, Chu, facing such a female hooligan, Yi Yin and Chu Yu were speechless. Oof. Yi Yin and Chu Yu turned their heads and did not look at each other. This angry look was very much like love. Yi? He's not dead? Following a voice, the few of them looked into the darkness. Those two ponytails were really iconic. Yi Zizi looked at Chu Yu curiously. Didn't he die? Why did it appear again now? Hearing what Yi Zizi said, Dong Wang Li and Yi Yin became even more curious about Yi's identity. Just who is Yi? Even Chu Yu was very curious. Aunt Zizi, Dong Wang Li shouted out sweetly, causing the corner of Yi Zizi's mouth to twitch. As long as Dong Wang Li uses this kind of tone to speak to me, something bad will definitely happen. Yi Zizi immediately said, Ali, speak properly. Don't use this tone. Aunt Zizi, can we talk about this girl called Yi? Yin also jumped over and said with a smile, Aunt Zizi, tell us about it. Then who is she? Yi Zizi asked curiously. Yi Yin patted his chest and said, This woman is my woman. 66666. Yi Zizi immediately made a hand gesture to praise Yi Yi. All the men of Yi family. Seems like they all have some thoughts about this Yi. Since you want to know so much, let's talk somewhere else, Yi Zizi said softly. Upon hearing that there was hope, everyone immediately ran out of the imperial palace and arrived at a tea house. This decoration is really not bad. It has the style of sci-fi. Dong Wang Li muttered while looking at the decoration. I drove it, Yi Zizi said softly. Dong Wang Li and Yi Yin immediately rolled their eyes. So, Yin is asking us to support him. We are just children, and we're the kind of children who don't have money. So it was opened by Annie Zizi. How could I accept it? Sorry for making Annie Zizi spend so much money. You can treat us, Yi Zizi said with a smile. Yin, they walked into the private room on the second floor, and the tea was soon served. Just like that, the three stared at Yi Zizi and drank tea. Dong Wang Li felt that, in the past, Yi Zizi often played games, and drinking tea didn't seem to be Yi Zizi's style. But looking at the current Yi Zizi, the feeling that Yi Zizi is giving people now is just like an adult. Auntie Zizi, just what is going on with that Yi? Yi Zizi took out a lollipop, then stretched it in front of Chu Yu. Do you want to eat it? What is this? Lollipop, you like to eat it a lot in the past. Yi Zizi said softly. Yin was very speechless. In the past, it was always the uncles who held onto the lollipop, and now, it is the lowly who held onto the lollipop. I have never eaten it in the past. Chu Yu said confusedly. That's fine, you can try it. Oh, thank you. Chu Yu took the lollipop, and it seems like she doesn't know how to peel the lollipop. Yin took the lollipop and peeled off the wrapping paper on the lollipop. Here, eat less of it. Your teeth might get cavities. Chu Yu placed the lollipop in her mouth and lightly licked it with her tongue. A sweet taste immediately filled her mouth, causing Chuyu to be a bit surprised. Yi Yin wrinkled his brows as he looked at Chuyu's cheeks that were puffing up. "You're able to come up with so many tricks to eat a lollipop? I'm afraid that you are crazily licking the lollipop from all directions. You are truly formidable." "How is it?" Very sweet, very delicious," Chuyu said gently. "I don't know what this Annie Zizi in front of me is trying to do. Seems like it really isn't E. It is a bit of a pity." Zizi let out a light sigh. "I and E are connected by the lollipop. If it is E who lost her memory, there would definitely be an abnormal reaction." Chuyu asked curiously, "Auntie Zizi, why you two want E to appear so much?" "That's right, Auntie Zizi. Just who is this E?" "I can see that both father and mother seem to be a bit sad and regretful," Zizi said gravely. "Sai, E is also a pitiful woman. Not long after you two left, your father found his biological younger brother. At that time, after settling some matters, your father began to look for a wife for your uncle." Yin clapped his hands. "Oh, I got it. E is the wife that father found for my uncle." "No, Yin idiot." Chuyu couldn't help but ridicule, angering Yin to the point that he wanted to hold on to Chuyu and let her know that I am not that easy to bully. "Don't think that just because you are pretty, I won't scold you. Chuyu, don't think that just because you have pretty eyes, I don't dare to glare at you." "Humph, the two of you be quiet, don't talk," Dong Wangli said petulantly. "If the two of you want to quarrel, go back to your room and quarrel." After finished speaking, Dong Wangli asked curiously, "Then uncle's blind date is—" "That's right. In actuality, your uncle had already met with E a few days before the blind date, and both of them seemed to have developed a good impression of each other. And because your uncle was afraid that he would anger your father, he could only go along with Yi's wishes. That's why he chose Gong Yu to come over. In the end, Gong Yu is actually quite pitiful, mysteriously coming to this unfamiliar place." "Then, why didn't uncle bring Yi to father?" Yin asked curiously. Yi Zizi laughed lightly, then took a sip of tea. "They are well matched in terms of social status. Yi is just an ordinary person. Other than being pretty, there is nothing else about her. Meanwhile, Gong Yu is someone that was meticulously chosen by her father, and naturally, she meets all of his requirements. Furthermore, before this, it was also your uncle who requested for the blind date." Chapter 1360. The children understood. When Uncle didn't have a wife, he asked his father to introduce Yi to him, but when his father had already started, he bumped into Yi. After that, Uncle didn't dare to tell his father about it, so he could only brace himself and introduce Yi to him. After hearing this, Chiyu seemed to have gained a better understanding of Yi family. "I didn't expect that there would be such gossip in Yi family." "And then, did Uncle abandon Yi?" Yi Yin hurriedly asked. After all, judging from the current situation, Yi was definitely an abandoned person. After all, Yi was left behind by Gong Yu, and Yi even had a child. Yi Zizi slowly told Yi Yin about what happened back then. The three youngsters were very fascinated by the story. Yi Zizi even added a sad tone into the story, making it seem as if it was a tragic story. Looking at Chuyu, she had already cried. Even Dong Wang Li's eyes were red. Yi Yin slightly lowered his head, seemingly wiping the corners of his eyes. "This kid has grown up. He likes to cry when he hears touching things. This is simply an eternal love story. All kinds of scenes of torturing people. This is too tragic. Yi is simply too tragic." Dong Wangli finally understood why Uncle was so emotional today. So there was actually such a thing in the story. "It would be great if they could be together," Chiyu said in a low voice. "It is such a pity. Two people who could clearly love each other ended up as strangers, and they didn't even have the chance to bid farewell to each other." Yi Zizi said, faintly, "Some things cannot be forced. Your uncle was also at fault back then. He wasn't a man enough. He was afraid of this and that, causing Yi to suffer. Now that Yi is gone, don't mention it anymore." Dong Wang Li and the others sat for a while, digesting this tragedy, then took their leave. The three walked on the street. They seemed to still be immersed in the story. Yi Yin and Chuyu walked side by side, and unknowingly, Yi Yin held on to Chuyu's little hand. Chuyu seemed to be thinking about a problem, and didn't resist. Just like that, the two returned to the palace hand in hand. After returning to the palace, Dong Huang Li smiled and said, "Io, after hearing a story, your fingers are tightly clasped. Damn it, Chuyu, you're taking advantage of me." Yin reacted and immediately flung Chuyu's hand away. Chuyu's gaze turned cold. "Say that again." "Tis," Yin expressed. "I can't be bothered to lower myself to your level." "All right, it's already quite late. The two of you should go back and rest. I will go and talk to Mom and Dad. However, I can only hide this matter from Mom and Dad for a short period of time. In the future, the two of you can deal with it as you see fit." After Dong Huang Li finished speaking, she waved her hand and left, leaving behind two people who were not pleasing to the eye. "Hey," Chiyu suddenly shouted. "I don't have a name. Who was Annie Zizi just now?" Chiyu asked curiously. "Not telling you. Yin, how can you be like this? You clearly promised me," Chiyu said angrily. She couldn't help but step forward, preparing to pinch him. This pinching action was really a woman's instinctive action. No matter who it was, they all knew how to pinch. F*CK me. If you really pinch me, see if I don't mess with you. Come on, I'll tell your mom. You. Shameless. You're the shameless one. I can't be bothered with you. I'm going back to sleep." After saying that, Yin walked into his bedroom. This made Chu Sheng stomp his feet in anger, and he helplessly followed in. The two of them entered the house. At the same time, their gazes landed on the only bed in the house, and they took a look at each other. "It's time for me to display my strength." "Mom, why did you come?" Chu Sheng cried out in surprise. Yin subconsciously turned his head around to take a look, and the door was tightly shut. However, when he turned his head around, Chu Sheng was already lying on the bed, tightly hugging onto the blanket. "Chu Sheng, what? You have a nerve to snatch my bed. What's there to be embarrassed about? You go and find a place to sleep. I'm tired, you old woman." "Chu Sheng, Yin, you're the old woman. TSK, you're already more than 100 years old, and you're still trying to act young? You old cow, do you still want to gnaw on a young grass like me? You, I shouldn't have come with you. Liar." After saying that, Chu Sheng covered her mouth, and her tone seemed to be choking with sobs. This caused Yin to go into a daze. "It can't be. She's crying just like that. She's definitely acting, and she still doesn't know you. It's impossible for me, young Master Yi, to coax you." However, the blanket was still slightly trembling, and sobbing sounds could be heard from time to time. "All right, I admit defeat," Yin said helplessly. "No matter what, the other party is helping me. I shouldn't bully the other party. You're just like your uncle. I came to your place alone. I'm unfamiliar with this place, and I still have to be bullied by you." Hearing that, Yin felt a headache coming on. Is there anyone who randomly accuses me like this? I was wrong. Don't be angry, all right? I'll tell you then, Aunt Zizi is my dad's subordinate, and my dad has a lot of subordinates. Yin could only give her some benefits to prevent this old woman from getting angry. As expected, after hearing the answer, Chu Sheng became a lot quieter and didn't seem to be that angry anymore. "Aren't you going to take a shower before going to sleep? You're so dirty," Yin couldn't help but say. Chu Sheng finally came out from the blanket. "I smell very good. I don't need to take a shower. You don't like cleanliness. You are the one who doesn't like cleanliness." After speaking, Chu Sheng got up from the bed and didn't forget to warn Yin, "Don't snatch my bed. If not, you will be finished." TSK, I'm a man. Would I snatch something from you? Chu Sheng snorted, then went to take a shower. After a long time, Chu Sheng finished taking a shower, and when she came out of the bathroom, the corner of her mouth twitched. "Yin, you are not a man." What answered her was a snore. "Bastard, you are infuriating me," Chu Sheng said angrily, then walked to the side of the bed and shook it with all her might. "Get up, bastard, you lied to me. It's impossible to wake up a person who is pretending to be asleep." Chu Sheng had no choice but to sit at the table and drink tea to calm down. Perhaps it was because she was too tired she actually fell asleep on the table. Yin, who was on the bed, secretly took a look at Chu Sheng. This woman actually fell asleep? Forget it. Yin, am also a man who has tender and protective feelings for the fair sex. Yin walked down the bed and carried Chu Sheng up. Take note, it's still a princess carry. Then, Yin lightly placed Chu Sheng on the bed and covered her with a blanket. Yin took a closer look at Chu Sheng's face, and it is indeed beautiful. If he also looks like this, it's no wonder that my uncle is so infatuated with her. It's understandable. Suddenly, Chu Sheng, who was sleeping soundly, opened her eyes, giving Yin a fright. Youngster, you are still a bit inexperienced. Good night, you old woman. To actually lie to me. Same to you. Be quiet. I am going to sleep. Just you wait. What else could Yin do? After taking a shower, he immediately made a bed on the floor, and when he returns home, he doesn't even have a bed. However, just as Yin was about to sleep, a knock on the door rang out. Chapter 1361. Yian's soul was almost scared to death. Yin'er, are you asleep? Damn, it's actually my mother who came. Yin and Chuyu looked at each other. What to do? I am asleep. What else could Yin shout? He could only make up a story. Then Mom is coming in. Chinya pretended not to hear. She just wanted to see if these two kids were real or fake. Yin immediately panicked. Mom is really making things difficult for her son. But if it was any other boy, this is simply the most powerful mom. To be able to have such a mom is simply a super benefit. Yin kept the mattress on the floor and directly got into the quilt. Chu looked at Yi Yan's movements that were like flowing water and had a dumbfounded look on her face. At this moment, Chinya walked in and directly looked at the bed. Mom! Ian shouted unhappily, as if I, your son, am doing something and you rushed in. Where is Chiyu? Because Chuyu was sleeping inside, Chinya didn't see her and thought that Chuyu wasn't there at all. However, at this moment, Chuyu was very sensible and stretched out her little head with a red face. Mom. Since you guys are already asleep, Mom won't come in. Chinya was happy. This shouldn't be wrong, right? Ian was about to roll his eyes. It was clearly Mom who barged in, and you were actually still making sarcastic remarks. Mom, you should sleep early. Okay, Yin'er, you need to take care of Chuyu, understand? Don't bully others. You need to act like a husband. Don't learn from your father. Ching, you still had to carefully instruct, especially not to learn from your father. Mom, I understand. I really feel sorry for Chuyu. After speaking, Yian hugged onto Chuyu's shoulder, just that Chuyu directly bit onto Yian's shoulder, causing him to frown in pain. Chinya smiled and did not say anything, then closed the door. Chinya, who was standing outside, let out a long sigh. Once upon a time, we also quarreled like this, just that this kind of quarreling has now become an extravagant hope. Should I go back tonight? I really don't know. When Yian heard the sound of his mother leaving, he finally felt relieved. You still aren't letting go. Pervert. Yian hurriedly let go and jumped off the bed. Who is a pervert in that situation just now? I could only do that. Otherwise, we will be exposed. In any case, you are a hooligan. I don't want to see you. Chuyu's back was facing Yian, and her tone seemed to be really angry. No matter what, Yian was a scumbag-level expert. He had kissed a few hundred times, and his excuse for breaking up was enough to make a person go crazy. Of course, his skill in coaxing a girl was rather brilliant. Faced with a girl like Chuyu, Yian felt that he could make her smile at any time. Honey, go to hell. Who's your wife? Chuyu became even angrier. This shameless person. Sob, I don't care. You're my wife. It wasn't easy to trick you. You can't run away. Chuyu's face darkened. You, this scoundrel bastard. I'll tell your parents. F***ck, wait, I'm joking. Didn't you hear my tone just now? Yian felt the air turn awkward. Can you grow some brains? Please, can't you be a little more serious? How can you joke like that? How boring. Chuyu glanced at Yian before lying down again. Yian felt a headache while holding on to her. I can't compare this woman with other women. I still have to use some tricks. After quite a while, Yian curled up on the ground. So cold, so cold. Of course, Chuyu didn't fall asleep so quickly. After all, it was her first time sleeping in the same room as a man, and she was a bit nervous. More than that, she was worried. Who knows if Yian would do something worse than a beast later on. So cold, so cold. You're going to die from the cold, Chuyu muttered. However, she felt that the temperature here was indeed very low, especially late at night. The temperature was around -10+ degrees Celsius. This bed seems to have a heating function, but the floor doesn't have any heating function. Woman, you don't have a bit of sympathy at all, Ian said while shivering. This won't do. You don't have a bit of sympathy at all. Any woman wouldn't have the heart to let me, young Master Yi, sleep on the floor. Chuyu laughed softly. That would depend on who it is. I don't want to talk to you right now. Ian snorted proudly. Did I whet your appetite enough? Are you going to invite me to your bed? Let me tell you, I will put on an act and refuse, making it seem like I am very reserved. I will definitely not be impatient. Come, invite me. I am already prepared to accept your invitation. How about you change to another room? Ian, this woman's way of thinking can't be decided by common sense. Don't talk to me. What are you doing, getting angry just like this? You don't have any manliness at all. F***K. Can a man get angry? What does this have to do with manliness? You women are simply the kings of bullsh**T. Can you be even more ridiculous? However, after a long time, Ian still didn't hear Chuyu's words. This woman is really ignoring me. F***K. I told you to ignore me, and you just ignore me. What a headache. Under this kind of unwillingly situation, Ian gradually fell asleep. The temperature in the room was indeed very low, and Ian seemed to be intentionally letting himself catch a cold, not resisting the cold. However, Chuyu, who was on the bed, threw out a gentle beam of light, enveloping Ian. Ian, who was sleeping, could feel the warmth. It was very comfortable, as if he had fallen into his wife's embrace. The night quietly dispersed, and it was another beautiful breakfast. Ian let out a yawn, then slowly opened his eyes. Where am I? Suddenly, he recalled his current situation. This woman on the bed actually ignored me. Could it be that there's a problem with my charm? Chapter 1362. What an unyielding woman. Ian suddenly discovered that Chuyu was quite interesting, and suddenly, he had an idea. That's right. Since it has already come to this, if you want to kill someone, then kill me. Ian closed his eyes. This is also a gamble. If this woman makes a move, I will be dead. But if she doesn't make a move, then she will definitely fall in love with me. Suddenly, Ian felt a chill on his neck. Wait. Ian hurriedly stopped the other party's crazy actions. All right, this woman's description made me, Ian, completely unable to guess. It is truly terrifying. Do you have any last words? Chuyu said with reddened eyes. I didn't expect that Ian was actually this kind of person. Ian's brain was thinking frantically. I have to think of a method now. Seems like I can only take out my trump card. Chuyu, do you know why I want to obtain you? Because you are a scoundrel. Wrong. Old pervert. Wrong. Pervert. Ian, Chuyu, because I am afraid of losing you. Ian shouted out gravely. His acting skills were instantly displayed. That angry expression, that heavy and sorrowful voice, and that superb appearance. Any woman would instantly faint. Too enchanting. It's fine. I am not afraid. Ian, the hell? Our thoughts are not on the same channel at all. But I am afraid. Could it be that you still don't understand my feelings? Ian pressed onto Chuyu's shoulders with both of his hands. His saliva almost spurted out. So awkward. Looking at Chuyu's disgusted expression, Ian felt. Chuyu snorted coldly. Your feelings, isn't it because you want to obtain me? Yes. I want to obtain you. But that is because I like you. That is why I want to obtain you. Ian shook Chuyu's shoulders and shouted out with a pleading expression, truly touching. Chuyu went into a daze for a moment. Although it was only for a moment, Ian saw an opportunity. It is not that I scumbag Yi am bragging, but this woman is already starting to fall. Look at my, Lord Yez, coquettish operation. Chuyu, I just want to obtain your attention, arguing with you, bringing you home, and saying that you have a child. It is all to obtain your attention. Ian discovered that Chuyu's small face was getting redder and redder. My God. Look at this shy look. it is so cute. You bastard. You actually set me up from the start. You even made it sound so fresh and refined. Ian, I set the pace, but you purposely mess it up. Are you sent by the heavens to punish me? Looks like I really have to use my killing move. And it was a kind of explosive. It's not that the scumbag Yi, am bragging, but no woman can withstand this move. Remember, it could be any woman. Ian used the move of a hungry wolf pouncing on fire, very much like his father. However, no matter what, his father's luck was much better than his son's. Because Ian discovered that a sharp dagger was really aiming at his lamp wick. You want to come again? My God, I'm not going to play anymore. I didn't touch you. Ian was truly at his wit's end. This woman is really stubborn. You're trying to trick me again. My imperial mother said, if a man and a woman sleep together, they will have children. Ian was immediately stupefied. He wanted to be her biology teacher and tell her how to have a child. She was already over 100 years old, yet she was still so pure. Just thinking about it made one's hair stand on end. Chiyu, let me give you a lesson. What do you mean? You have to do this in order to have a child. I will give you a dynamic demonstration. You have to cooperate with me. All right, if you dare to trick me, you are dead meat. I will also commit suicide. Humph. The hell, is she so easy to trick? Lie down properly first. Chiyu really did obediently lie down properly. This made Yi Yin laugh wildly in his heart. However, just when Yi Yin was about to guide her, the door was suddenly pushed open. Yi Yin, Dad asked me to call you two to go eat breakfast. Dong Wangli shouted out. When she saw the scene on the bed, she went into a daze. Aren't these two acting? This is too realistic. They are really planning to have a child. Chiyu's face flushed red, and she subconsciously kicked Yi Yin. Hiss, hiss. Yi Yin's scalp was about to fall off. This kick of hers nearly extinguished my lamp wick. Dong Wangli felt pain just by looking at it. Too savage. You two, quickly wake up. After finished speaking, Dong Wangli left. In the future, when I come in, I still have to knock on the door. Right now, I'm already a grown-up. I'm not a child anymore. After Dong Wangli left, Yi Yan's lips were trembling. You are so ruthless. I didn't do it on purpose, Chiyu said embarrassedly, then immediately ran away. I'm really down on my luck of 8 lifetimes. Ian endured that empty pain and got off the bed. If time could go back, I wouldn't sleep on the bed, even if I was beaten to death. After a while, the two walked into the palace, and neither of them spoke. Are you all right? Chiyu couldn't help but ask with concern. If something happened to me, you wouldn't be able to escape either. Who asked you to act recklessly? You don't even know your limits when you're joking. Who knew that your reaction would be so big? This is my normal reaction, okay? Chiyu said helplessly. Who asked you to act recklessly? I don't want to talk to you. Ian turned his head away. I really can't afford to offend her. Ian, a dignified scumbag, a devil, actually lost and so thoroughly too. If you don't want to talk, then don't talk. Chiyu pouted. The two didn't speak along the way and arrived at Lu Jing's bedroom. Ian first observed his parents' expressions. Luckily, their expressions are normal. If that's the case, I can be at ease. I didn't pay such a painful price in vain. Chiyu, did you sleep well last night? Dongwang Baiji asked with concern, and it was very fragrant. Chiyu adjusted her state of mind and said gently. However, right now, Yin was thinking in his heart, this Chiyu is a tough woman. This weak appearance of hers is all a lie. Yin, what happened to your neck? Qinya looked at the red mark on her son's neck and asked curiously. Yihua said faintly, Qinya, this is our son's and daughter-in-law's bedroom matters. Why are you asking so much? Everyone, Chiyu's face had already turned red, and even Yan's face had turned red. Bedroom matters, my God, this word is simply too dirty. Everyone take a seat. Lu Jing said with a benevolent smile. Yin and Chiyu sat down awkwardly. Yihua said faintly, Yin, Chiyu is still pregnant. You have to bear with it, understand? Everyone also, although it is important to give birth to a child, you also have to take care of your body. God Yi and Lu Xian, who were at the side, immediately felt the same as Yi Yin. So shy. Chapter 1363. Daji, let the blood demon serve the dishes to nourish their bodies. Yihua said again. He didn't expect that his son would actually turn the act into reality. Not bad. Sometimes, turning the act into reality was also a beautiful method. Thinking back to the past. Let's not think back to the past. There's nothing much to think about in the past. They're all the same, inflated. This meal was as awkward as it could get. Of course, the ones who were awkward were Yi Yin and God Yi, but it would be fine once they got used to it. However, just as everyone was eating, 3 figures unexpectedly appeared at the entrance of the restaurant. Yihua, who was sitting at the main seat, slightly raised his head and took a look, then continued to eat his porridge. Even Lu Jing took a look and sighed softly. Only Qian Yuqing smiled faintly and said, "It's good that you are back. Quickly sit down and eat together." That's right. The ones who came back were naturally Yi Juetian, Gong Yu, and the child. However, Yi Juetian being able to coax his wife and child back was a huge loss. It was as if he was praying to the Bodhisattva. This made Gong Yu feel very happy. After all, this was the first time Yi Juetian begged her to return home, and he even promised a lot of things. However, Gong Yu is still too young. This man's promise, TSK, 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 it can change at any time. Mother, big brother, sisters-in-law. Yi Juetian said respectfully. Actually, he had thought through some problems back then. He had indeed been biased against Gong Yu. He didn't think from Gong Yu's point of view, and he even hit Gong Yu. Is this something a man should do? Even beasts wouldn't do this. That's why, towards Yi Juetian being able to bring Gong Yu and the child back, everyone was still very happy. Right now, Qiyu curiously turned her head around, wanted to take a look at Prince Ye's little brother. However, when Qiyu turned her head around, Yi Juetian and Gong Yu were immediately stunned. This, Yi came back? Yi didn't die? These questions lingered in Yi Juetian and Gong Yu's mind. How is this possible? Right now, Yi Juetian's mind was completely blank again, and he even walked towards Qiyu step by step. Qiyu was startled, and she subconsciously held onto Yi Yan's hand. Because this uncle's gaze is so, I can't say for sure, but it is filled with either deep longing or fear. Yi Yan could be seen standing in front of Qiyu and said with a smile, "Uncle, this is my wife Qiyu." Following Yi Yan's words, Yi Juetian stopped in his tracks. "Qiyu? You're not Yi?" "Yes, uncle. My name is Qiyu, brother Yan's wife." Qiyu spoke quite smoothly now, but her words made Yi Juetian's mind go blank. "Qiyu, hello." Yi Juetian took a deep look at Qiyu, then took a few steps back, held Gong Yu's hand, and sat down. This scene seemed a little strange. Yihua placed down the spoon and said faintly, "Since you're already back, then live your life properly. Don't think too much." Yihua was also warning Yi Juetian that Qiyu was Qiyu, and Yi was Yi. The two must not be confused. This is your nephew's woman. Don't have any crooked thoughts. Otherwise, even the gods won't be able to save you. Yi Juetian nodded and said sincerely, "Big brother, I understand. I won't make the same mistake again in the future." After Gong Yu got over her shock, she felt touched. Just now, Yi Juetian clearly had a reaction. Seems like Yi is an existence that can't be dispelled in Yi Juetian's heart. What can I do? Since things have come to this, I can only take one step at a time. If he dares to bully me again, then I really won't come back anymore. I will bring Yi away from this sad place. Yi Yan let out a breath. No matter what, I was the one who brought her back. I can't let her suffer a loss. Although this Qiyu looks like Yi, she isn't Yi. Therefore, I, Yin, have to protect others. But then again, Qiyu's small hands are really soft, and they are super easy to touch. I want to touch them even more than the girls in the past. Should I be serious for once? No. I, Yin, am also a man who pays attention to detail. I promise to be a scumbag. So how can I go back on my words? Just as Yin was about to say a few words, Wei Chang's voice rang out in his mind. "Your Honor, subordinate has something to report." "What is it?" Yihua asked indifferently. This was also the tone that had never changed for hundreds of years. After all, there were only a few things that would cause Yihua's emotions to fluctuate For example, the women beside him. This is regarding the matter regarding Little Honorable. Them, Yihua asked confusedly. Looking at my 4 children, could it be that they caused some sort of trouble? That's right, Meridian Break Sect and God Academy have already gone crazy looking for Little Honorable. However, I have no idea who secretly reported that Little Honorable was kidnapped and brought to Wushu Empire. Oh, there is such a thing? Then, what are they planning to do? Are they planning to kill their way over, or are they planning to put up a strong protest? Your Honor, we do not know for the time being, but it is very likely that they will take extreme actions. Wei Chong said respectfully. However, his tone did not have the slightest bit of fluctuation. Even if you take extreme actions, so what? No matter how extreme your actions are, can they be as extreme as our Wushu Empire? Yihua laughed lightly, causing everyone to feel very puzzled. Let's see what actions they will take then. After being bored for more than 10 years, it seems like there are people stirring up trouble again. However, Wei Chong was still a bit worried as he asked in a low voice, Your Honor, in a sense, they are also Little Honorable's teachers. If we were to kill them directly, will Little Honorable have any thoughts about it? I reckon that Little Honorable won't have any thoughts about it, but this matter will be buried deep in their hearts. In the end, being a father is not easy. There are simply too many things that one has to consider, and one cannot be too selfish and only think about revenge. Yihua let out a light sigh. In the past, when I was all alone, all I could think about in my mind was how to torture my enemies, and I would even think of different ways to torture them. However, ever since I met Qinya, my world seems to have changed. Qinya is simply a little demoness that torments people. Your Honor has indeed become a single person, Yihua said coldly. Are you saying that I wasn't a single person in the past? Subordinate doesn't dare. Subordinate will go and inquire about the news right now. Go. After ending the call with Wei Chong, Yihua slightly narrowed his eyes. What's wrong? Dongwang Baiji asked curiously. Don't look at how it was just a question. This was also giving Yihua face, and it could be considered as a kind of taking the initiative to admit one's mistake. Yihua said faintly, It's about the matter between Meridian Break Sect and Deity Academy. Although the children didn't ask, all of them looked over at Yihua in unison. In their eyes, the children can be considered to have gone missing. I have no idea who leaked the news, but they said that our Wushu Empire kidnapped the children. Right now, they're currently planning on whether they should use negotiation to get the children back, or extreme methods to get the children back. Chapter 1364. To be honest, the children didn't really wish to see a fight. After all, they had lived in that place for more than 10 years. Even if it was a lump of iron, they would still have feelings. They still hoped that their father would be able to let them off the hook. What if they come? Qinya asked. Her tone wasn't as aggressive as before. Most likely, it was because she was happy. That would depend on themselves. Life and death will be up to them to choose. Yihua said faintly, then stood up and left. In this family, Yihua's words were always the loudest. Even Lu Jing wouldn't say something like that sometimes. This was a dictator, a domineering CEO series. Girls loved it the most. That was why Chuyu and Lu Xian felt that their father was so cool. All right, now even their father is being called. However, right now, the 2 big shots from Shun Academy and Meridian Break Sect were discussing whether to negotiate or to take extreme measures. Meridian Break Sect's big shot was still Chong Hen, but Shun Academy's big shot, Tai He, had already gone missing for many years. In the beginning, everyone had been searching for him, but in the end, they gave up. However, Shun Academy couldn't afford to lose its dean. In the end, it was the vice dean who became the dean. This person's name was Chong Qing, and he was a middle-aged man. His appearance was similar to Pan An's, and that handsomeness. This was the charm of a middle-aged man, and the young ladies were simply unable to resist it, especially that silver hair on his head. It simply made this Dean Chong Qing even more charming. Shin Academy, inside the dean's office. The 2 big shots were really actively negotiating. From what I see, This Wushu Empire is too arrogant. It wasn't easy for two new stars to appear in our south, and they actually kidnapped them. This is simply too despicable. We can't just let this go. Chang Hen gritted his teeth in anger. When he thought about Dongwang Li's insane medical skills and God Ye's unique power, he wished that he could go and rescue them right now. Even when he was sleeping at night, he would still dream of the two youngsters being hung up, beaten, and interrogated. He didn't even get to eat a hot meal. The pain in his heart. It was simply heart-wrenching. Chong Qing slowly poured a cup of hot tea for Chang Hen, then said lightly, "Sect Master, don't be anxious. The current situation is still unclear. This Wushu Empire is already second to none in the north. Without a bit of strength, I'm afraid that it would be impossible. Chang Qing, could it be that you're going to watch as they are hung up and beaten? They are still children." Chang Hen shouted out angrily. Yin and Yilu are both very smart. Even if they are kidnapped, they will try their best to escape. However, at this point, Chang Qing's calm eyes turned cold. The disciple of my evergreen isn't someone who can be touched by anyone. Chang Hen nodded and took a sip of the hot tea in his hand. So we should go and get him, now that the entire South knows about it. If we don't do anything, we'll be laughed at. It's only natural that we want him, but before that, we still have to warn him. What do you mean? Shall we send someone over to explain? That's right. This could be considered as peaceful measures before resorting to force. Enduring hatred thought for a moment and shook his head. I don't think that's necessary. Let's just go and get him. If you don't get it to us, we'll do it. Isn't this a little too extreme? Evergreen asked doubtfully. Extreme? My lungs are about to explode from anger. This is already a very rational thing to do. Chang Hen said indignantly. From the looks of it, Chang Hen was also extremely biased towards Dongwang Li and God Yi. After all, for so many years, the medicinal herbs that Dongwang Li needed were all arranged by Chang Hen. Chang Hen could be said to be extremely doting towards Dongwang Li. Therefore, how could he not be angry? Although Evergreen looked indifferent, in his heart, he was about to explode from anger. He watched them grow up as if they were his own children. How could he not be angry? He was simply about to explode from anger. Evergreen slowly closed his eyes. After a long time, he said lightly, "Since that's the case, then let's do it. We will directly go and get him." "All right, you and I have already arranged everything. If we don't give him to him, then we will directly kill him. Don't think that we are easy to bully." Evergreen nodded his head. These two are indeed ruthless people. They decided such a big matter in just a few minutes. However, right at this moment, a voice rang out from outside the door. "Dean, people from Abyss City are here." Evergreen and Chang Hen went into a daze. They took a look at each other. What are people from Abyss City doing here? Abyss City, that was the water city in the past. However, ever since there was no water, it was renamed to Abyss City. This name is rather fitting. Abyss is indeed very, very deep. Let them in. Evergreen said faintly. Soon after, he sat cross-legged on the main seat, and Chang Hen also sat on the side seat. 3 people could be seen slowly walking in, and the man leading the group was none other than Qi Shu-Wen. It was none other than Qi Shu-Wen, this man who possesses the system. Of the 2 people walking at the side, one was Long Outyin, who killed people with his left hand and saved people with his right hand, and the other person was naturally Jiu Yi. Don't look down on Qi Shu-Wen right now. After 12 years of hard work, Qi Shu-Wen had already become a supreme-level expert, and he had even exchanged a lot of treasures from the system. I feel that it is time for me to come out of seclusion. During these 12 years, Long Outyin was also the same. He had practically trained with his life on the line. Right now, he was also a supreme-level expert, and he definitely had the ability to protect his family. This time, when Qi Shu-Wen said that he wanted to help, Long Outyin agreed without hesitation. If it wasn't for the place that Qi Shu-Wen had arranged for him, he would still be running away. Jiu Yi, who was at the side, had also been training crazily these few years. With Qi Shu-Wen's help, he had also reached supreme level, but he was still weaker than the other 2. But no matter how weak he was still a supreme level expert. Jiuyi seemed to know that this trip was a bit dangerous, so he didn't bring Xiao Bao along. After all, Xiao Bao is already old now. It had been 12 years since Xiao Bao came, and a golden retriever's lifespan would only be around that much. No matter what, Jiuyi wouldn't let Xiao Bao leave his side. This golden retriever was Jiuyi's family. I am Qi Shuwen from Abyss City. I pay my respects to the two supreme level experts. Qi Shuwen cupped his hands and said politely. After all these years, Qi Shuwen had long understood a principle. The bird that sticks out will be shot. Even if you have a sharp edge, you still have to hold it in. I am Long Outyin. Jiuyi. Jiuyi is still the most awesome, as expected a big shot. Evergreen asked lightly, "May I know what business the people from Abyss City have with me?" This Meridian Break sect and Shan Academy didn't get along with Abyss City to begin with, and now that they suddenly came to visit, it was already good that they didn't chase them out. We are naturally here to provide help, Qi Shuwen said with a slight smile. Help? Evergreen asked in confusion. Those three old farts from Abyss City didn't come, and instead they sent a young man like you out. What is the meaning of this? Chapter 1365. Qi Shuwen nodded his head. Voidless Empire. I have heard of it long ago, and even earlier, I have also heard of this place called Voidless Realm. Voidless Realm? Chongqing and Chonghen were puzzled. Long Outyin didn't know about Voidless Realm. After all, back then, he had always been watched by Death Assassin. What kind of place is this Voidless Realm? Chonghen asked doubtfully. What does it have to do with Voidless Empire? From what you said, these two seem to be related. Do you have any proof? Just because their names are similar? Chongqing asked indifferently. He didn't really mind this kind of coincidence. Qi Shuwen laughed, then raised his head slightly and said, I don't know how powerful that Voidless Realm is, but no one can shake it. Furthermore, this Voidless Empire became the strongest in the north in a short 12 years. How can they do that without strength? So, you think that we aren't their match? Chongqing's tone was a bit deep. Anyone with discerning eyes would know that Chongqing was definitely angry. Qi Shuwen shook his head. That's not it. The strength of Meridian Break Sect and Deity Academy is known by the entire South. I have some conflict with that Voidless Realm. Regardless of whether you all believe it or not, my intuition is telling me that there is definitely a connection between us. After hearing that, Chongqing and Chonghen took a look at each other. These few people are quite strong. If they join us, it will be the icing on the cake. It can also be counted as a kind of insurance. With the three of us joining us, we will definitely be able to get twice the result with half the effort. Qi Shuwen added. He had waited for this moment for a long time. As for why he had such a huge amount of resentment, even Qi Shuwen himself didn't know. In any case, Qi Shuwen only knew one thing. Back then, if not for Voidless Realm, he wouldn't have come here. It was all because of Voidless Realm that forced him to come here. That smoking man and Voidless Realm's Empress. Back then, he swore that he would definitely trample on Voidless Realm and ruthlessly trample on Voidless Realm. I want everyone to know that I, Qi Shuwen, am the true overlord. Long Outyin had a stupefied look on his face. He didn't have much feelings toward hatred. Right now, he just wanted to live a good life with his family. As for helping Qi Shuwen this time, it was also to return a favor. Lord Jiu was the same. He was already old. How could he still be in the mood to engage in such a fight? Back then, Voidless Realm had already experienced it. Voidless Realm was practically a graveyard. Voidless Realm sent several 100,000 people to go there, and in the end, before they could even see the door of Voidless Realm, all of them died in battle. Just thinking about it made one's hair stand on end. If he was given another choice, he definitely wouldn't do that. It was simply digging his own grave. As for whether or not this Voidless Empire is Voidless Realm or not, Jiuyi doesn't know. If it is, then I can only be considered to be out of luck, and not bringing Xiao Bao along with me is also a wise decision. Everlasting Hatred stood up, looked at Qi Shuwen and the others, and said, You can join us, but this time, our Broken Meridian sect and Divine Academy are in charge. You cannot act on your own. Do you understand what I mean? Changhen was also afraid that Qi Shuwen would make trouble. At that time, the Meridian-breaking sect and the Shin Academy would be blamed. Then, the loss would outweigh the gain. Of course, Qi Shuwen readily agreed. Evergreen issued a stern warning. If you dare to act recklessly, we will not fear the Abyss City. Dean, you can rest assured. Qi Shuwen will not do such a thing. That is naturally for the best. Evergreen said lightly. The meaning behind his words was that he wanted to send them off. Qi Shuwen naturally understood what Evergreen meant. He smiled and said, "Then, I won't disturb the two of you from discussing matters. I will just send someone to inform you when the time comes." All right. After finished speaking, Qi Shuwen, Long Out Yin, and Jiu Yi walked out of the dean's office. There was no one beside Long Out Yin. Long Out Yin asked curiously, "Brother Qi, just what is this voidless realm and voidless empire?" Out Yin, you don't know? Jiu Yi had a look of looking at Long Out Yin as if Long Out Yin was an alien. At that time, everyone knew about it. Even Qi Shuwen felt that Long Out Yin was living in a paradise. I'm ashamed to talk about it. Back then, because of some matters, I had to live in the mountains with Meng Meng for many years. Thus, I know nothing about the outside world. Long Out Yin said embarrassedly. Back then, I tried to snatch a woman from someone else, and in the end, I was killed by that person instead. However, even if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have been able to meet Meng Meng and turn a bad thing into a good thing. Qi Shuwen laughed lightly. So that's the case. The two of you sure love each other, enjoying the life of a paradise. Qi Shuwen, who didn't understand the situation, thought that the two of them did it on purpose. However, Jiu Yi didn't think so. Back then, Long Out Yin was still very arrogant. This time, after meeting Long Out Yin seemed to have changed into a completely different person. However, Shuwen, that voidless realm is not a charity. Are you sure that voidless empire and voidless realm are the same? Jiu Yi asked gravely. This isn't a joke. This might just be a suicide question. Qi Shuwen took a deep breath. Jiu Yi, putting aside all these, do you think that we are still the same as back then? Do you know what supreme martial artist is? The kind that can walk unhindered in the world like a crab. Jiu Yi, are you able to swallow your anger about what happened back then? Qi Shuwen asked back. Jiu Yi didn't express his opinion. Back then, he was indeed unable to swallow his anger, and that was why he chose to bring Xiao Bao along to relax. In actuality, he was just trying to escape. However, Jiu Yi didn't say such words because all these years, Qi Shuwen had helped me a lot. After all, I, Jiu Yi, am also a person of the underworld. The reason why we train so hard isn't it to make those who look down on us regret it, to protect our family from being bullied? If not for these beliefs, would there be a need for us to train so hard? Can't we just eat, drink, and be merry? Taking the risk to train, isn't that sick? Long Out Yin and Jiu Yi didn't say anything. Seems like Qi Shuwen indeed has a lot of resentment towards Voidless Realm. If it wasn't for Qi Shuwen helping them, they really wouldn't want to go to Voidless Realm. Shuwen, we still have to be careful. If they're really from Voidless Realm, we have to be even more careful. Jiu Yi said gravely. Of course. Although Qi Shuwen agreed, in actuality, in his heart, he was already itching to go and trample on them. Back then, you two acted arrogantly in front of me. This time, I, Qi Shuwen, am going to act arrogantly in front of you too. Show off my might. Inside the dean's office. Eternal hatred. What do you think about this matter? Chong Qing asked, wanting to hear Eternal Hatred's opinion. Eternal Hatred said gravely, I don't know what to think about this matter, but that man just now, he is someone that our Meridian Break sect put on a wanted list a long time ago. And which one? The one who spoke? No, it's the youngster who is standing at the back. What? He killed your people? Chong Qing asked curiously. Chapter 1366. Eternal Hatred said solemnly, It is because of a skeleton. Skeleton? Undead race. Chongqing was confused. Yes, that undead race. Didn't he die? Chongqing asked in shock. Eternal Hatred waved his hands behind his back. Smoke rose, and the video from back then was broadcasted. This is a secret that Meridian-breaking sect has hidden for many years. Not many people know about it. Chongqing looked at the video. Although his expression was calm, his heart was in turmoil. This skeleton, just like that skeleton, Chongqing didn't participate in the battle back then, but he had seen the video and knew about that undead race. He felt that this aura was much weaker, but that aura of looking down on everything was very similar. It feels like it, but it doesn't, Chongqing said indifferently. That is why we have to capture him. Then why didn't he attack just now? The three of them are quite strong. If they had attacked, your deity institution would have been destroyed. Eternal Hatred had considered this before, but his strength didn't allow him to act recklessly. If that skeleton didn't die, then the situation would be even worse. Yes, but more than 10 years have passed, and there haven't been any large-scale casualties. Maybe it really is fake. Chongqing said solemnly. That might not be the case. This Wushu Empire is the only empire that allows alien races to live in the city. From this, we can see that this emperor has a good impression of alien races. I even feel that this emperor himself is an alien race. What you said makes sense. For Wushu Empire to allow a different race to reside in this Wushu Empire, it has already caused public opinion. I think, just based on this point alone, Wushu Empire has become the public enemy of all humans. Chonghen said coldly. Chongqing nodded. What he said made sense, but this time, we're going to find the disciples. If things get too tense, I'm afraid that they will kill us. Yes, if not for that, I really want to wipe out that Wushu Empire. During these years, they have been too arrogant in the north. Chongqing laughed. Eternal Hatred. No matter what, this Wushu Empire is a matter of the north, so it is normal for us not to interfere. The people in the north didn't say anything, so what reason do we have to use the disciples as an excuse to start a war? I don't want that. Indeed, this time, we should bring the children back first. All right, I'll start making arrangements here. You can start too. We'll set off in 10 days. Should we spread the news? Everlasting Hatred asked. You can relax a little. At least give him some pressure. I think so too. All right, I'll go back and prepare. You don't have to send me off. Chongqing clasped his hands and disappeared from the spot. Give me some pressure? Will Wushu Empire be pressured? I can't wait for you to come and stir up trouble. This news spread like wildfire on the second day. The entire southern region knew that Meridian-breaking sect and deity institution were making a big move, and they were making a move against Wushu Empire in the north. The reason was because Wushu Empire kidnapped their beloved disciple. Many people began to discuss this. This Wushu Empire was the leader of the north, while the Broken Meridian sect and deity institution were the superpowers of the south. With such a clash between the strong, would there be any sparks? The news spread in the north on the third day. Within Wushu Empire, these few days, Yihua didn't quarrel with his wife, and their relationship could be considered to be in a frozen state. This kind of situation was still rather good. On the other hand, Dongwang, Li, and Qing Su were discussing about poisons every single day. They could practically discuss from day to night, and they still wanted more. After all, Dongwang Li was young, and her way of thinking was different from others. Qing Su received a lot of inspiration from her. Dongwang Li was indeed young, but Qing Su's steadiness was not something that could be easily obtained. Dongwang Li also received a lot of ideas from Qing Su, and she appeared to be exceptionally serious. Qing Su felt that his honor's eyesight was indeed not bad. It was indeed a good thing for his honor to let little Dongwang Li become the leader. God Yi and Lu Xian were in the making a human stage. Meanwhile, Yi Yin and Chu Yu were in the scolding stage. If Chu Yu didn't scold Yi Yin for even a minute, her entire body would feel uncomfortable. When Chu Yu couldn't win against Yi Yin in a scolding, she would start crying. Yi Yin seemed to have learned from his father's teachings. It seems like he can't see a girl crying, so he just coaxed her. Chuyu grabbed onto this weakness and attacked Yi Yin frenziedly. However, Yi Yin felt that this was just like flirting and cultivating feelings. However, Yi Lu was the only one who was rather bored. No matter who he looked for, no one was free. During these few days, Yi Juetyin and Gong Yu were still alright. Yi Juetyin knew that Chuyu merely looked like Yi and she wasn't Yi. Sometimes, he would even comfort himself that Chuyu was Yi, and that meant that Yi didn't die. She was still alive, Your Honor. Wei Chong slowly walked into the Imperial Garden, and Yihua could be seen sitting on a stone bench, while Qian Yuqing was currently playing the zither. From the looks of it, Yihua only fell out with Qingya and Dongwang Baiji, and Qing Yutong and Qian Yuqing didn't. Qian Yuqing stopped playing the zither. For Wei Chong to come at this time, there must definitely be a reason. Sit, Yihua said faintly. Wei Chong sat down respectfully. Yihua personally poured tea for Wei Chong, and Wei Chong held onto the teacup with both of his hands. What happened? There's movement, Wei Chong said in a low voice. A smile appeared on the corner of Yihua's mouth. That's good. How many people are coming? The number doesn't seem to be a lot, but they are coming. When are they coming? Around 7 days later, Wei Chong said lightly. After pausing for a moment, Wei Chong continued asking, Your Honor, do we need to do anything? There's no need to do anything. Although Wei Chong was puzzled, he still said respectfully, Yes. Subordinate understands. After finished speaking, Wei Chong prepared to stand up and leave. You didn't drink the tea, Yihua reminded. Wei Chong hurriedly drank the tea, then left. Yihua looked towards Qian Yuqing. Qian Yuqing laughed tenderly, then continued playing the zither with her slender hands. The beautiful melody made Yihua close his eyes and enjoy the peaceful moment. After the zither finished playing, Qian Yuqing walked to Yihua's side. What did Wei Chong say to make you so happy? Oh, then Meridian Break Sect and Deity Academy will be coming in a few days. They are really coming? Seems like they are really doting on their children. Yihua laughed lightly, then said with a trace of ridicule, Are they doting on their children, or are they making use of them? Who knows? We will know when the time comes. What do you think? Yihua asked curiously. Qian Yuqing whispered a few words into Yihua's ear, causing Yihua to laugh out loud. Yihua stretched out his hand and hugged onto Qian Yuqing. Yuqing, I discovered that you have become bad. Isn't it all because of you? Naughty. Yihua, calm down, don't be angry at them. Seeing that Yihua was in a good mood, Qian Yuqing mustered up her courage and pleaded for Yihua. However, after hearing Qian Yuqing's words, Yihua's expression turned stiff. You don't have to worry about this matter. After finished speaking, Yihua stood up and left. Chapter 1367. The speed at which Yihua's face changed caused Qian Yuqing to be dumbstruck. It was still sunny just a moment ago, and in an instant there was a thunderstorm. This is even faster than a woman. I was still playing the zither for you, just now to make you happy, at least give me some face, and yet you actually got angry. If you don't want me to worry about you, I won't worry about you. This is truly infuriating. Qian Yuqing snorted, then picked up Yihua's teacup and drank it in one gulp. She felt that what she was drinking was not tea, but wine. It was commonly known as the aura of drinking water into wine. What's wrong? Drinking tea instead of wine in the middle of the day? Qing Yutong walked over with a smile on her face, and it was obvious that she was teasing Yihua. Qian Yuqing said helplessly, You saw it yourself just now, and you are still teasing me. Qing Yutong sat down leisurely, poured a cup of tea for herself, then said with a slight smile, How can this be considered teasing? This should be called condolence. This brother-in-law of mine, his temper is just like the weather. 1 second he would be smiling, the next second he would be looking at you with a stern face. He wasn't like this in the past. He always had a poker face, Qian Yuqing said in a low voice. From the looks of it, she had played landlord quite a lot. He's just like that. Don't take it to heart. I won't be sad with you anymore. It seems like there is something going on, Qing Yutong said with a smile, then hurriedly walked out of the Imperial Garden. If there is something going on, how can I be left out? Qian Yuqing held onto her forehead helplessly. This is different from what I imagined. The life that I imagined should be the kind of loving and loving life, where every day is like bathing in love, which would be able to make my heart warm. But right now, it is just like the weather. It is so unstable. At this moment, Qing Yutong caught up to Yihua. Brother-in-law, wait for me. Qing Yutong shouted out with that coquettish tone of hers, and it was practically able to give Yihua goosebumps. To be able to act coquettishly to such an extent, only Qing Yutong would be able to do so. Other people are simply unable to do so. Just from this coquettish tone of yours, I, the Supreme Overlord, will have to stop my footsteps and ask what exactly is going on. What's the matter? Brother-in-law, wait for me. I can't even catch up to you. Qing Yutong immediately held onto Yihua's arm, then once again used her ultimate move of acting coquettishly. This move was effective on any man. Qing Yutong had naturally told her big sister before, but Qing Yutong didn't use coquettish tone. Qingya, is also a person. How can I act coquettishly? Speak normally. All right, brother-in-law, is there something that you want me to do? Qing Yutong's eyebrows twitched and had a look of brother-in-law, you understand, on her face. If it was in the past, he would definitely be sitting between Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, with each of his arms around one of them. But now, it seemed more like a negotiation. The three of them just sat there quietly. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji didn't ask anything. Yihua wanted to see if the two women would take the initiative or not. After waiting for a long time, he decided to forget about it. What do you all think about the matter regarding Yi Yin and God Yi? Yihua took the initiative to speak. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji felt joy in their hearts. It was as if they had won this Cold War. In actuality, Yihua neglected a fatal problem. Why are they making such a ruckus? Why? In the end, it's still because I am too free. Other than making a ruckus with you, they don't have any other daily life. That's why. I can't let women be idle. I must definitely do something. Only then will I be able to divert my anger. Otherwise, they would only be discussing about what to do every day. However, since Yihua took the initiative, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji didn't want to make things too difficult for him, unless they really wanted to divorce. What do you think we should do? Qingya directly threw this question to Yihua. This wasn't a provocation. This was just like saying, you are the head of the family. You have the final say. Yihua felt slightly more comfortable in his heart. In actuality, when it comes to matters between husband and wife, both of us just need to take a step back, and the sky will be wide open. Of course, this also depends on the problem of personality. Some men and women are just stubborn, and they want to be stubborn to the end. As long as Yin and God Yi both like it, I will naturally approve of it. Qiyu and Lucien are also not bad. As long as the children are happy, it's fine. Towards this problem, Yihua had already thought it through long ago. I won't get involved in it, and I'll let the children do whatever they want as long as I like it, it's fine. Towards Yihua's words, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji naturally wouldn't object to it. This child seems to be about to be pregnant. How else can they object to it? Chapter 1368. Nothing was more powerful than a child. Since Yi Yin and God Yi have their own homes and children, let's choose a time to marry them. We can't miss out on any of the necessary etiquette. Donghuang Baiji said lightly. There was still a bit of unhappiness in her tone. After all, Yihua did not give them a proper wedding. Yihua was naturally able to tell that he wanted to do it as well. However, it was not the right time yet. Thus, he could only push it back a bit. Seeing that Yihua seemed to be intending to avoid this question, Qingya and Donghuang Baiji became unhappy. Just what is this Yihua worried about? Why is he not willing to hold a wedding for us? Isn't this just a matter of a few words from you? When the time comes, you can just come out and walk around with your clothes on. You can even pretend to be mute. I can say everything. Can't this even work? Right, there's one more thing that I need to tell you all. Yihua hurriedly changed the topic. At this time, it is better not to talk about the wedding anymore. Qingya asked snappily, what is it? The people from Meridian Break Sect and Deity Academy came to look for the child. They thought that the child was kidnapped. Yi Hua said faintly. So? Dongwang Baiji asked confusedly. Thus, if you're using the excuse of looking for a child to cause trouble, I, the Supreme Overlord, will naturally not let you off. However, if you're sincere, then forget it. Yi Hua said faintly. After hearing what Yi Hua said, Qinya and Dongwang Baiji pondered for a moment. This is also Yi Hua's usual way of doing things. For so many years, it doesn't seem like anything has happened. You can decide for yourself. I'll cooperate with you when the time comes, Qinya said in a low voice. From the looks of it, I also want to vent my anger. Since I can't vent my anger on my husband, I will just find someone else to vent my anger on. All right, it is decided then. Yi Hua stood up, seemingly planning to leave. For the past few years, Yi Hua had always been like this. After saying a few sentences, he would immediately leave. There was basically no communication at all, and a husband and wife who didn't communicate with each other were simply like strangers. While looking at Yi Hua's back view, Qinya and Dongwang Baiji did not say anything. They were already used to it. However, Yi Hua didn't leave immediately. Instead, he turned around and asked, "Do you want to go to the child's side together?" Sure enough, when Yi Hua said this, both Qinya and Dongwang Baiji went into a daze for a moment. Did this man take the wrong medicine today? To actually know how to invite me over. Qinya and Dongwang Baiji stood up and said, "It just so happens that we were planning to go there as well. Let's go together then. Look at these two women. They are so arrogant. It is as if a peacock is holding a court. It is really embarrassing." Yi Hua didn't say anything. Right now, the situation is that you take a step back and I take a step back. This way, we will be able to reconcile with each other. Qinya and Dongwang Baiji walked to Yi Hua's side and lightly held onto Yi Hua's wrist. Yi Hua couldn't even remember how long it has been since the two women last had such an action. Today is truly a good day. But for the children, today was a surprising day. And it can't be, right? Is this a scam? When Dongwang Li heard Qing Yutong's words, she was clearly incomparably shocked. Is there a need to be so ruthless? Yes, this is too exaggerated. Yin followed along and said, although this is just an act, we are still suffering a lot. And you actually want to? This is too outrageous. Qing Yutong said solemnly with the appearance of an elder. How? Is this exaggerated? This is what your father requested. Father is too bored, right? Yilu couldn't help but ask. Qing Yutong let out a long sigh. It is not only your father who is bored. All of us are very bored. Now that we finally have something to do, you all have to shoulder this responsibility. Our happiness will depend on you all. God Yi choked back his words. It feels like your happiness is built on top of our pain. How is there pain? I just want you all to let out a few screams. How big of a deal is this? The four children revealed out an expression of "I don't believe you all," causing Qing Yutong to feel a bit gloomy. No matter what, I'm still a person who is at the level of an ant, and yet I am actually not being trusted by these children. This is an order you all carried out properly. Aunt, I will be leaving first. Bye-bye, little fellows. Looking at Qing Yutong leaving happily, Dongwang Li let out a light sigh. Aunt is really bad. That's right, and she's the super kind. Yi Yin followed along and said. God Yi and Yi Lu didn't express anything. After all, it had already come to this. I'm going back first. Yi Yin seemed to be a bit anxious. Yi Lu teased. Brother, how long has it been? And you are already thinking of sister-in-law. That's right, you can't be serious, right? Dong Huangli chuckled, looking as if she already knew about Yi Yan's background. TSK, how is that possible? I'm just afraid that that woman will get into trouble, so I have to look after her. Yi Yan said with a lie. After interacting with Chu Yu for the past few days, he discovered that there were a lot of cute parts about Chu Yu, and of course, there were also some parts that made him angry. But in conclusion, Chu Yu is still a good girl. It seems like I'm gradually falling for her. This woman's schemes sure are deep to actually use this kind of method to make me, Yi Yan, fall in love with her. No matter what, I, Yi Yan, am the eldest son of Yi family, and for you to get your hands on me so easily, I will definitely resist a bit to show my chastity." After hearing what Yi Yin said, the other three couldn't help but laugh, especially Yi Lu. After all, it has been so many years. Do you still not know what kind of character your brother has? If it was the kind of woman who doesn't care about men, she would definitely not care about men. But if it was the kind of woman who cares about men, this is the kind of reaction I have. Minna, Yin took a look at everyone, then stated once again, "I'm really just going to take a look. I know. You should quickly go and take a look in case your little wife disappears and you get anxious again." Dong Wangli said with a light smile. Seeing that both of her brothers have a girl that they like, she felt happy in her heart. Yi Yin revealed a helpless look, then hurriedly left. "God Yi, you should go back and accompany Xian as well. She can't leave you now," Dong Wangli said with a light smile. God Yi nodded his head, then left. Sigh. Dong Wangli suddenly let out a light sigh. "Big sister, why did you suddenly let out a sigh?" Yi Lu asked curiously. "It's nothing, I just feel that, after growing up, life is truly a bit boring." Yi Lu pursed her lips, seemingly agreeing with what Dong Wangli said. "Lu do you have any plans for the future?" Dong Wangli, who was sitting at the side, asked curiously. "I plan to go out and take a walk by myself. The outside world is so big. I also want to go out and take a look," Yi Lu said with a light smile. It could be seen that Yi Lu truly wanted to go out and take a walk, and perhaps even go out and take a look. Chapter 1369. Dong Wangli nodded her head. "All right, the outside world is beautiful and depraved. You have to be careful." "Big sister, I understand." Dong Wangli patted Yi Lu's shoulder and prepared to leave. "Big sister, what do you plan to do in the future?" "Dad has already arranged everything," Dong Wangli said in a low voice. Her tone seemed to be filled with helplessness. "If possible, I want to go out with Lu but I can't disappoint Dad. Therefore, I have to make a choice. Who asked me to be the eldest? If I don't take responsibility, who else will?" Yi Lu lightly held on her big sister's hand and said with a smile, "Big sister, it has been hard on you." "It's not hard at all. It's just a change of lifestyle." Dong Wangli patted her little sister's shoulder, then left the room with a smile. Yi Lu looked at her big sister's back view and felt that her big sister is different from when she was young. Her big sister has always been chasing after Dad's footsteps without stopping. Chuyu, Chuyu, Chuyu. Yi Yin returned to the room and realized that Chuyu, the old woman, was missing. He started searching crazily in the room, even under the bed. He seemed to be a bit anxious. He searched the entire room, but he couldn't find Chuyu at all, so he hurriedly ran outside to search. After searching the entire palace, he still couldn't find Chuyu. Yi Yin panted a little and sat on the stone bench at the side. His gaze was a little unfocused as he said in a low voice, "What's going on? Why am I in such a hurry? If she wants to leave, let her go. Anyway, Father and Mother are fine now and don't need her anymore." "That's right. Let her leave. What does it have to do with me? She's not anyone to me." Although Yi Yin said that, his brows were deeply wrinkled. He seemed to be very unhappy. Very unhappy. "Why am I unhappy? It's as if my wife ran away with another man and made me a cuckold." His lungs were about to explode from anger. Suddenly, a sweet voice sounded out from outside. "Xian quickly go back. Otherwise, God Yi will be anxious." "Why would he be anxious? He doesn't even care about me. But if your big brother Yin gets anxious, he won't be able to find you." This sentence was obviously meant to tease. Chuyu proudly raised her chin. "Him? Will he be anxious? The sun will rise from the west." Then, "Big sister Chuyu, see you tomorrow." "Okay, see you tomorrow." The two ladies waved their hands. After all, they were the only ones who had a common language in this palace. Hence, Lu Xian came to look for Chuyu just now. The two of them went out for a walk and chatted. Yi Yin saw Chuyu at first glance, but his gaze was not friendly, as if he was about to flip out. Chuyu was a little confused. Didn't he just go out for a walk? Looking at him, it seemed like he wanted to eat her up. "Come here," Yi Yin shouted coldly. Chuyu was a little frightened. Yi Yin looked a little scary, different from before. What's the matter? Why are you like this? Chuyu furrowed her brows slightly and walked up with small steps. Yi Yin looked at the woman in front of him, and his heart was filled with all sorts of emotions. When he saw that this woman had returned, his frustrated heart instantly calmed down. Yi Yin felt even more depressed about this. His heart was actually moved by this woman. MD. Yi Yin hugged Chuyu, who was in front of him. Chuyu screamed and fell into Yi Yan's arms. If you dare to run around in the future again, I will beat you to death. Yi Yin hugged Chuyu tightly and said. However, this sentence had a bit of a confession. Chuyu didn't expect that Yi Yin would actually say such a thing. However, when she felt Yi Yan's nervousness, she felt rather happy in her heart. However, she said, beat me to death then. In any case, you have always been bullying me. If I don't see you when I come back in the future, I will hang you up and beat you. Go and die. Yi Yin, who was overwhelmed with emotions, lowered his head and kissed Chuyu. Chuyu was immediately stupefied. Chuyu's first kiss was gone just like that. Yi Yin doesn't even know who he gave his first kiss to. Cough, cough, cough. A light cough suddenly rang out, and the two youngsters immediately separated from each other with an expression of I didn't do anything just now. It's broad daylight. What are you doing? Yihua walked in with Qinya and Dongwang Baiji. When the two women heard Yihua's scolding, they thought to themselves, aren't you the same? In the past, did you even differentiate between day and night? Like father, like son. Dad, Mom, why did you two come here? What's the matter? Yin hurriedly changed the topic. Just like his dad, when he met with a question that he couldn't answer, he would immediately change the topic. Yihua didn't expect that Yin, was capable, kissing Chuyu just like that. You two really turned the act into reality. Not bad. This is how my son should be. How can I not have some tricks up my sleeves? It's nothing. You two can continue. Yihua originally wanted to say something, but his son wasn't free right now. If I let them warm up their relationship a bit more when the time comes, they might really give birth to a child. At this moment, Qinya warned, Yin, treat Chuyu well. Don't be so thoughtless. Oh, got it, Mom. Yi Yin let out a sigh of relief when he saw his dad and Mom leaving. Just now, I was so scared that I almost peed in my pants. It's just like when I was young and got caught by my mom when I was doing something bad with my big sister. Yi Yin secretly took a look at Chuyu, who was beside him, and discovered that Chuyu's face was practically completely red. What about that? It's so awkward, huh? Yi Yin didn't know what to say anymore. Just now, it seems like I was too impulsive, and I even said some incomprehensible words. It's so embarrassing. Why did I say those words? It's so embarrassing. When the atmosphere was right, some words were directly said out. But after the atmosphere was over, when Yi Yin recalled what he said just now, he felt that his face was burning hot, and he felt very embarrassed. Chuyu silently sat on the stone bench at the side, slightly lowered her head, and didn't say anything. Yi Yin looked at Chuyu's appearance. As a scumbag, I don't even know what to do. What to do? Yi Yin decided to just sit at the side, and the air seemed to have become quiet. Were you confessing just now? Chuyu suddenly looked towards Yi Yin and asked the question in her heart. Yi Yin went into a daze, then scratched the back of his head. What confessing? You are thinking too much. Oh, got it. Chuyu said lightly. However, as long as one isn't an idiot, one would be able to tell how disappointed Chuyu was. Yi Yin was naturally able to tell as well. Looking at Chuyu's expression, he felt a bit uncomfortable in his heart. Chuyu stood up and said lightly, I'm tired. I'm going in to rest for a bit. Yi Yin subconsciously grabbed onto Chuyu's small hand. The two of them maintained this position. A light breeze blew past, and Chuyu's black hair slightly fluttered, appearing very lively. Let's be together for the rest of our lives, okay? Chapter 1370. Yi Yin directly said what he wanted to say in his heart. All right, you old woman succeeded. This young master Yi has fallen into your hands. Forget it, I won't be reserved anymore. But to be honest, in the past, when the scumbag Yi Yin confessed, I wasn't nervous at all. But today, I was especially nervous, a bit afraid that Chuyu would reject me. In the past, I didn't worry about this problem at all, because no woman would reject me. But with this Chuyu, it was hard to say. From this point, it once again showed that the easier it was to get a woman, the less treasured it would be, and the harder it was to get a woman, the more treasured it would be. Looking at Chuyu's back view, Yi Yin was a bit nervous. Humph, Chuyu snorted and directly walked into the house. This caused Yi Yin to be dumbfounded. What do you mean by this, Humph? Do you agree or not? Chuyu, what do you mean by this, Humph? Yi Yin hurriedly chased after her, but Chuyu closed the door with both hands. Bang! Yi Yin directly used his face to smash the door, very fierce. Io, Chuyu. Yi Yin was depressed. What is this old woman doing? This young master, you doesn't even care that you're more than 100 years older, yet you actually humph. Chuyu leaned on the door and lightly bit her lips, but there was a smile in the corner of her mouth. Chuyu, speak clearly. Do you agree or not? Idiot. Chuyu couldn't help but scold. Can't you tell? Do you want me to directly agree? So embarrassing. What? You old woman called me an idiot. Do you want to be beaten by me? You are the old woman. Chuyu was furious. You want to live like this for the rest of your life? I will be angered to death any time. Open the door. Not opening. Are you opening or not? Not opening. Do you want to live like this? You don't even like old women. How are you going to live like this? Chuyu said gloomily. I am only 100+ years old, and I'm still very young. But in your mouth, I become an old woman. This is really infuriating. I like old women. All right, Chu. Perhaps it was this kind of quarreling that gradually warmed up the relationship between the two. Fate had come, and it couldn't be stopped. However, a few days later, Broken Meridian sect and deity institutions, people finally moved out. There weren't many of them, but they were elite. There were 19 people in the group, including Qi Shuwen, Long Out Yin, Elder Jiao, and the others. Of course, everyone was riding on a battleship. It was comfortable and could save time. We're almost there. Everyone get ready. Lonesome Hatred stood on the deck and looked into the distance. Although he couldn't see anything clearly, he could feel the cold temperature. He really admired these northern people. How did they survive in such a cold place? News of this matter has long since spread out. I'm afraid that Voidless Empire has already imposed martial law. Chongqing stood at the side of the deck and said calmly. Enduring Hatred's expression was calm. So what if martial law is imposed? We still have to do what we have to do. At most, we'll just kill our way in. I don't think there will be martial law. Qi Shuwen smiled as if he had a card up his sleeve. Why? Long Out Yin asked curiously. Qi Shuwen looked at Elder Jiao, then said, because they won't put it to heart at all. You could be at ease. I have heard of Voidless Empire's arrogance before, but they seem to have forgotten one thing. Their opponents this time aren't small fries. They're Broken Meridian sect and deity institution. Lonesome Hatred snorted. I reckon that the other party is already panicking and thinking of how to settle this matter and avoid losses. Everyone couldn't help but nod their heads. Facing the strongest forces in the south, they definitely looked calm on the surface, but were actually panicking on the inside. After a long time, they finally arrived at the entrance of Voidless Empire. Looking down at the entire Voidless Empire from the sky, it was quite shocking, because they couldn't even see the end of it. Ordinary empires were only so big, and one could see the end of it with a single glance. They had heard that Voidless Empire was big, but they didn't expect it to be this big. There really isn't martial law. Someone in the surroundings cried out in surprise. That's right, there are only so many soldiers at the entrance of the city. It's the same on the city walls. How is this possible? They are completely not putting us in their eyes. Sect Master, this is an insult to us. That's right, Dean. From the way I see it, it is time for us to display our true strength and let these people see the strength of our South. The people in the North are just weaklings. Qi Shuwen and the others stood at the side and didn't say anything, choosing to wait and see. Let's go. Let's go and take a look. To actually be so arrogant. Lonesome Hatred directly leaped down from the ship. Seems like he was very displeased with Voidless Empire's disregard. After Lonesome Hatred jumped down from the ship, the others also jumped down one after another. Qi Shuwen had been waiting for this moment for far too long. He directly leaped down from the ship. Today is the day that Voidless Empire suffers a loss. Just thinking about it makes me a bit excited. Everyone arrived in front of the city gates and slightly raised their heads to look at the enormous city walls. Because of the reflection of the sunlight, the city walls were simply dazzling and blinding. When looking at the city walls from above, I didn't know that the city walls are so tall. But looking at it from above, the city walls are really very tall. Suddenly thinking of something, everyone hurriedly looked at the city walls. How can we possibly look up? Looking at the surroundings, there were still a lot of people entering or exiting the city, bringing along goods from other places, etc. The city could be counted as bustling with traffic, but here came the problem. When these ordinary people saw us and the others appearing, they actually didn't have the slightest bit of reaction. More than 10 people suddenly jumped down from the sky, and they even had grave expressions on their faces. Shouldn't you all be shocked? Shouldn't you all then run into the city and shout for help while wetting your pants? Master, I didn't expect that Voidless Empire would be so arrogant, and even these ordinary people would be arrogant as well. They don't even put us in their eyes at all. Just when a man finished speaking, a madam at the side shouted out, "What are you all doing, blocking the road so that we can leave? Please move aside." Big sister, what do you think we look like? You actually dare to speak like this? The man said towards the big sister. You all are truly shocked, right? The big sister swept her gaze across the few people, then said gravely, if you all are going to enter the city to sleep, you all still have to apply for a temporary residence permit. I have connections, 1 gold coin per person. Everyone, temporary residence permit. This broken place even needs a temporary residence permit. I will sleep wherever I want to sleep. Temporary residence permit my ass. Dean, I feel that we should investigate the situation first. One of the people suggested. Chongqing nodded his head. Indeed, we should investigate the situation first. Then we will be able to directly save the children. Let's apply for a temporary residence permit first then. Chongqing said lightly. Right now, Qi Shuwen was sure that those who are able to come up with something like a temporary residence permit are definitely people from the same hometown. From the looks of it, it is them. Chapter 1371. You sure have a lot of tricks up your sleeves. You even made a temporary residence permit. How troublesome. Enduring Hatred said unhappily. The lady next to him immediately stretched out her hand and said with a smile, Bosses, that's a total of 19 gold coins. 19 gold coins wasn't much to Enduring Hatred's group, but it felt really weird. One of the people from Meridian Break Sect took out 19 gold coins and passed it to the big sister. The bright and dazzling gold coins indeed looked very comfortable, and the big sister had a joyous look on her face. I wonder where this group of people came from. They are so easy to swindle. Come with me, the big sister said with a smile. This extra income was pretty good. Perhaps in the future, she could often wait outside and use this trick whenever she saw a stranger. The group of people followed the big sister in front and walked into Voidless Empire. At the side of the entrance, there was a registration counter, and anyone who entered Voidless Empire for the first time would have to register. Of course, it was free of charge. Handsome, please register them. The lady walked to the front desk and grinned. Fill out some forms. The big sister took the form and handed it to Everlasting Hatred and Company. Then she smiled and said, just fill it in. I won't disturb you anymore. Looking at the big sister leaving just like that, everyone felt that they had been tricked. However, no one would quarrel with a big sister over 19 gold coins. We are all overlords, and we also have the demeanor of an overlord. How could they have a conflict over 19 gold coins? They had to wait until the night to assassinate him. Were these things? Eternal Hatred couldn't help but let out a cold snort. I'm basically going to have to fill in my personal information and even my marriage situation. Where did I learn this from? It wasn't that Qi Shuwen and the others hadn't seen Voidless Empire before. From the looks of it, this Voidless Empire is indeed opened by someone from the same hometown. Voidless Empire can already be considered to be Voidless Realm. Right now, Jiuyu is even more worried. I have a subconscious fear towards Voidless Realm, and I am completely unable to shake Voidless Realm at all. Even if I have trained for so long, I reckon that it would still be useless. I am very clear about Qi Shu Win's goal, and I feel that it won't work, but it's also hard to say. Even these things have to be filled out. It is simply an insult to us. One of deity institutions, people said with resentment. Exactly. How could we fill in such a thing? Even if I die, I won't do it. What a bully. There were still some people standing at the side. Some were hesitating, while others had already filled in their forms. Faced with the curses from the lonesome hatred people, the others remained silent. The handsome guy at the front desk shouted, "What's with the noise?" If you want to fill it up, then fill it up. If you don't fill it up, then turn left and leave the city. Ouch. My bad temper. How dare a mere scribe be so arrogant? One of the Meridian Breakers couldn't take it anymore and looked like he was about to fight. He had been around for so long and had never met such an arrogant person. The handsome guy stared at the troublemakers and said faintly, "If you want to cause trouble here, then you have to clear up the consequences. Look at the wall. Those are all troublemakers." Just now, I really didn't pay much attention to it, but now that I turned my head around to take a look, I saw that there were all kinds of weapons hanging on the wall. At first, he thought they were just decorations, but upon closer inspection, these weapons were all extraordinary. Presumably, their owners were very powerful. However, since the weapons were hung on the weapons, the owner should be, the handsome guy said again, "It's a great honor to be hung up there. At least we have to admit their strength. There are still many people who haven't been hung up. If you want to make trouble, there will be professionals to evaluate your strength and see if you can be hung up." Following what the handsome guy said, the others hurriedly filled in their personal information. However, Chong Hen said angrily, "I'm not going to fill it up today. I still want to enter the city. Let me see what you all are going to do. Who is making a ruckus here?" Suddenly, a sweet-sounding voice entered everyone's ears. Kai Yin could be seen walking out from the office at the back, and Luo Ho was following behind him. Luo Ho was the person in charge of this place. Kai Yin coming over this time was only a routine inspection. In any case, the public security of the entire city was managed by Kai Yun's Nanwuchi. Playing around is one thing, but the things that should be done still have to be done seriously. Qi Shu Wen, Long Out Yin, and Jiu Yi looked towards Kai Yun, and all kinds of changes appeared on their faces. Long Out Yin had a puzzled look on his face. After all, Long Out Yin had never seen anything before. Long Out Yin, who lived in the mountains, couldn't watch television. Qi Shu Wen had seen Kai Yin before, but that was only on television. The scenes from back then immediately appeared in his mind. As expected, it's you guys. When Jiu Yi saw Kai Yun, his gaze revealed out fear. Even if so many years had passed, he would still feel fear. Chong Hen asked gravely, "Who are you? Do you know who I am?" Kai Yin placed both of his hands behind his back. "I have seen this kind of situation way too many times, and I completely don't understand the situation at all. However, today is different. These people are all here to rescue Little Sovereign. As for whether it is really a rescue or not, no one knows. All right, in actuality, it is just that I know that they are coming today, so I came over to play. How can I miss out on such an interesting thing?" I asked Yizizi to come over to play, and she still didn't come over to play. Who you guys are is not important. If you guys want to stay in Wushu Empire, then you have to honestly fill in the form. If not, please leave. Kai Yin had become much more polite right now. He had matured, just that. He did not grow taller, and was still a dwarf. In the entire team, only Yizizi and Kai Yin were dwarves. Impudent. To actually dare to insult our sect master. Watch my palm. A person from Meridian Break sect shouted out indignantly, and a frightening pressure immediately burst out from his palm. As expected of an expert that Chong Hen brought over, the staff at the side had a calm look on their faces. After all, after seeing such a scene, it was a very boring thing. Kai Yin did not even need to make a move. Luo Ho, who was behind him, pointed out with his finger. His finger directly stabbed into the center of the palm. After stabbing, Luo Ho shouted out loudly, "Watch my finger!" Everyone, this fellow actually did not follow the rules. This is practically a sneak attack. Ah! The man cried out in pain, and cold sweat poured out of his body as he held onto his palm. Chong Hen's brows wrinkled. Although it was just a small contact, I can feel that this man is very strong. With a single finger, he actually gained the upper hand. As expected, this Wushu Empire cannot be underestimated. Also, this girl, I'm afraid that she is even stronger than this man. She should be at the same level as me. I wonder if there is anyone stronger than her. However, Juyi did not think that way. I have naturally seen this man before, and with that finger just now, there is definitely a suspicion of him going easy on Yeezy. If Yeezy were to use his full strength, I'm afraid that even dregs of this man would be an extravagant hope. I'm really sorry. Seems like there's a bit of misunderstanding between us. Chong Qing was rather slick. If not, he wouldn't have been able to stand out and become a headmaster. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.